Hi guys, so sorry about not posting for the last few weeks. I've been caught up with school stuff, but now that school is over I'll be able to post. Talking. Thinking. Drag talking and sacred gear sounds. Drag thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 18, Golden Wings. The day of the mid-class promotion test had arrived. Issei woke up, only to find Off-Eyes sitting on the foot of his bed, staring at him. Is something wrong, Off-Eyes? Asked Issei curiously, even his grey eyes bored into him unblinkingly. Have you changed your mind about joining the Devils today, now that you are well rested? Asked Off-Eyes, causing Issei to sigh. No, said Issei simply. Why not? Asked Off-Eyes, tilting her head to the side slightly. Once again, you have no reason to do this. Added Rainare, leaning down from the head of Issei's bed, so she was looking down into his eyes. Issei pursed his lips slightly, at both the dragon god and a manifestation of his subconscious, both trying to persuade him into not doing this. It'll be fine, I need to have a chat with someone anyway. Said Issei. Who? Oh wait, don't tell me, the other manipulative devil, right? Then again, since they are basically all manipulative, that Phoenix woman, right? Questioned Rainare, with a grin. You need a hobby? Muttered Issei. Oh yeah, of course, that's what I need, a hobby. Oh wait, only you can see me and I can't interact with the world. Yeah, I have a hobby, annoying you. Deadpanned Rainare. Issei sighed, before rolling out of bed and grabbing his clothes. Opting for a red short-sleeved shirt, black pants, and a black blazer over the top. You need a better wardrobe. Aside from that thing you wore on the only dates you've ever been on, your entire wardrobe looks like your school uniform. Snorted Rainare mockingly. Yes, I'll take fashion advice from someone who wears a full-body G-string. Said Issei flatly. Hello. Species designed around seduction, that's kind of our thing. Pointed out Rainare. Oh please, your seduction was barely anything. Scoffed Issei. Why are you talking to yourself? Asked Off-Eyes, getting Issei to freeze. Yeah, Issei, why are you talking to yourself? Added Rainare teasingly. It's nothing. Said Issei, getting Off-Eyes to tilt her head to the side again, before Issei decided to head downstairs, Off-Eyes following behind. Gathered downstairs were all the supernatural occupants of the house, sequestered in their own groups. There was the Occult Research Club, who seemed to be lacking Gasper and Rossius, who was still absent, Kurika and her fellow Chaos Brigade members, barring Off-Eyes, who was standing beside Issei. The two angels, Irina and Zenovia, were sitting with Ravel, who had returned to join the group for the promotion test. When the various groups took notice of Issei, they all went silent. So where's Gasper? Asked Issei, trying to break the tension which was quickly forming. Gasper has gone to the Grigori for training. Replied Akeno, in her usual tone of voice. Issei nodded at this, inwardly pleased. After all, without you, now the others all need to compensate. You were the strongest amongst all of them, at least in terms of power. Commented Rainare. Shall we go now then? Asked Rias, sounding almost as confident as she usually did, only with less excitement, as her gaze met Issei. Okay. Said Issei, getting a nod from Off-Eyes as well. Rias then directed Kiba and Akeno to a separate magic circle, explaining that they would go directly to the testing stadium. Wish me luck, Issei. Said Akeno, with a wink, before she and Yuuto disappeared. The others then all crowded around, before disappearing in a magic circle of their own. As the group arrived, they took stock of their surroundings. It seemed as though they had teleported to a hotel in the underworld, confusing Issei. Shaking off his confusion and before anyone else could speak, Issei directed a question to Ravel. Ravel, would it be possible for me to talk with your family while we are here? Asked Issei, confusing the young phoenix. Oh of course, whatever for though? Asked Ravel in curiosity. It's a personal matter, I can tell you about it later, but I'll like to discuss some things first, if that'd be okay. Answered Issei. I see. I will make the preparations immediately, please excuse me everyone. Said Ravel, before she disappeared in a magic circle, bearing the crest of the House of Phoenix. Sigh, I had such low hopes for you, but even now you still fail to meet them. Said Rainare, shaking her head in dismay. Issei ignored the fantastical apparition and focused on the others. Azazel has informed me that he will be arriving soon. He had a few last-minute preparations to take care of. Said Rias to the group, getting a few nods. Naya, don't worry about the crow, he's almost as impulsive as I am. I want to know what you want to talk about with those other little birds. Said Kurika to Rias, before turning to Issei at the end. It's personal. Said Issei, causing Kurika to pout. Such a mean red dragon. Said Kurika feigning sadness. Really? You're actually refusing to do what someone who has had sex with you wants. Color me impressed, maybe you do have a little bit of backbone. Commented Rainare in surprise. Issei then decided to go for a walk, but not before informing the others of his intentions. Would you like some company, Issei? Asked Rias nervously. Issei stared at the redhead for a moment, not actually believing she had mustered up the courage to be alone with him so early. If you'd like. Said Issei, before turning and leaving. As the door closed behind Issei, there was dead silence, many of the occupants of the room shocked at Issei's reply, before the same lazy Nico Shao spoke up. That's your cue to go after him, Red. Drawled Kurika, before giving a stretch and heading off to find somewhere to sleep. Rias jolted at Kurika's words and quickly headed after Issei. Has anyone seen Off-Eyes? Asked Fei nervously. I think she followed Issei. Said Irina, causing Fei to panic momentarily. Don't worry, I'm sure Off-Eyes can hide herself very well. Said Irina reassuringly. That and I doubt many people even know what Off-Eyes looks like currently. Added Zenobia, successfully calming down the blonde. Konako then wandered off as well, leaving the three of them behind, along with the dog that Fei had brought with them, but no one had commented on yet. Would you like to do something to pass the time? I brought cards, if you'd like to play. Said Irina. That sounds like fun. Said Fei, before the three sat down around a table and Irina drew a deck of cards. By the way, now that we are alone, what is that thing? Asked Zenobia, pointing to the dog. That's little Fenrir. Said Fei happily, patting the animal on the head. Fenrir, the creature capable of killing beings of immense power with a single bite. Said Zenobia slowly. Yes, why do you ask? Asked Fei curiously. No reason. Said Zenobia, before shuffling closer to Irina and away from the beast that could end her life with ease. All right, let's play. Said Irina, dealing the cards. Irina is far too relaxed. Thought Zenobia nervously, noting that her longtime partner didn't even flinch at hearing about Fenrir being a meter away from them. Line break. The Gremory princess quickly made her way downstairs, only to find Issei standing outside, waiting for her. Ria's confidence immediately evaporated at his impassive gaze. Let's go. Said Issei, before heading off. Ria stumbled momentarily, before jogging to catch up to Issei and match his pace, walking alongside him. Isn't this nice, being out for a walk with two people who very nearly led to your death? That being said, I succeeded, at least, for a few seconds. Said Rainare. Issei. I'm sorry, about everything. Said Rias, after the pair had been walking for a few minutes. Issei stopped and turned to look at Rias, who was looking down, unwilling to meet his gaze. Okay. Said Issei, before setting off once again, causing Rias to stumble and quickly run to catch up to him. Is that all you wanted to say? Asked Issei as the two started walking side by side again. Well, I just wanted you to know how sorry I am about everything that happened. I know I made some mistakes, but if I could go back in time, I'd fix everything. I just can't. Said Rias sadly. I know, I gathered as much back in the club room. I know you are sorry, I acknowledged that. Said Issei, getting Rias to perk up slightly. Really? Asked Rias hopefully. Issei nodded, causing Rias to exhale in relief. I'm glad. Said Rias happily, a small smile appearing on her face. That being said, just because I acknowledge your apology, it doesn't mean I accept it nor what you did. I acknowledge it, but I don't forgive you. Said Issei, causing Rias to adopt an expression of dismay. But why? I'm really regretful, and if you give me a second chance, I promise to never let anything like this happen again. I know now that I was being selfish and wouldn't acknowledge your own feelings. I was only thinking of myself and what I meant to you, but never made it clear what you meant to me. Intoned the redhead softly. I know all of that, but that doesn't change things. What happened, happened. You can't go back in time and change it, even if you wanted to," said Issei, sparing a glance at the fallen angel to his side. "If I could go back in time, I would have avoided Rainare. I can't though," said Issei, surprising Rias, at his mentioning of the fallen angel who had killed him. "You see, it is as simple as this. If you shatter a mirror, with enough glue and tape, you can piece it back together, but it won't ever go back to the same way as it was before then. Apologizing to someone, after doing something like what you did, is the same thing. You can patch things up, but things won't ever go back to the way they were before. The marks left by what happened remain, forever. In the same way the scars I got from Rainare never healed, so too will the scars I got from you and the others. I mean, you didn't really think things could go back to normal after everything that happened. I'm not even a devil anymore," said Issei calmly. I understand," said Rias sadly. "Let me ask you a question, Rias," said Issei, instantly gaining Rias' attention. "What makes you so against marrying someone like Riser?" asked Issei. "I've already told you all of this before," said Rias in confusion. "Humor me," said Issei, even as he looked around and noticed a few people muttering and pointing, in the direction of Rias and himself. "He only saw me as a title, a trophy to be won and not a real person. Someone who didn't care for, nor understand my feelings," said Rias. "Yeah. Now, taking away the part about not seeing someone as a real person, how does the way Riser saw you, differ in the way you saw me?" asked Issei, turning to face Rias. "They're completely different. I care about everyone in my peerage, as though they are my family," protested Rias hotly. "So does Riser, in a way. Even though he is pretty brazen about it, he does care about his peerage. While he is a lot more physical in his expression of his affections, he does care about them, similar to you," pointed out Issei. "What's your point?" asked Rias in confusion. "All I'm saying, is in the same way you want nothing to do with Riser romantically, I also don't want anything romantic with you. I acknowledge your apology and understand that you made mistakes. I made my fair share as well. That being said though, all the apologies in the world can't make me love you again, Rias. At one point I loved Rainare. At one point I loved you. Both of those things are no longer the case," said Issei calmly. "So we can't ever go back to the way things were before, is that what you are saying?" asked Rias morosely. "Yeah. I don't hate you Rias, but, I don't love you anymore either. For what it's worth, I wish you could go back in time as well, if not to stop Rainare from getting to me, to at least acknowledge my feelings before what happened, but what's done is done," said Issei. Rias kept her head down, ruminating on what Issei had said, before realizing that Issei had stopped walking. "For what it's worth Rias, I really did love you. I pushed myself to get you to acknowledge me. I endured hellish training to get stronger and I gave parts of my very being to help you. If you hadn't done what you did, I would have been your most loyal protector, but as things stand, that won't be the case," said Issei, before leaving Rias there, outside the hotel. Rias continued to stare at the ground, unmoving. A few seconds later, a drop of water hit the ground, followed by another. It didn't rain in the underworld though. The droplets of moisture striking the ground were tears of a woman, who hurt the man she loved deeply. "I'm so sorry, Issei," sniffled Rias, before heading inside the hotel as well. Line break. Ravel had finally arrived at her destination. While the magic circle had gotten her home quickly, finding her mother proved to be a difficult task. "There you are mother!" exclaimed Ravel, walking much more quickly than a refined woman should, as she rushed to her mother. "Ravel dear, what has you so animated?" asked Ravel's mother curiously. "Issei would like to speak with you, perhaps father as well," said Ravel quickly, causing her mother to raise a delicate eyebrow in interest. "Is that so? Did he mention what he would like to discuss?" asked the older phoenix. "No, only that it is a personal matter. He did mention he would inform me about it, after he spoke with all of you though," recalled Ravel. "I see. Then by all means, we would be more than willing to speak with Issei," said the older woman, causing her daughter to give a small smile. "Very well, I will tell him at once. Excuse me mother," said Ravel, giving a small bow, before leaving. "Well dear, what are your thoughts on the matter?" asked the matriarch of the Phoenix House. Her husband, the head of the Phoenix House had been listening in as well, remaining hidden. I do believe that the Red Dragon will in fact fulfill Ravel's wishes to some capacity. I must say though, his continued humility is intriguing, especially given what we heard transpired between him and the peerage of the Gremory," said the man, who possessed the same light-colored hair as all of his children, with it being spiky in the back. "How quaint," commented Lady Phoenix. "However, now we need to confirm our suspicions are correct, as well as finding out what he will ask of us," added Lord Phoenix, surprising his wife. "Ask of us? What more could he require than Ravel's hand?" asked Lady Phoenix in confusion. "I do believe you are underestimating the boy. True, he was quite straightforward before, but after the battle with Saraorg, I believe he has grown, becoming somewhat shrewder," answered Lord Phoenix. "Well, I suppose time will tell then," remarked Lady Phoenix, getting a nod from her husband. Line break. Ravel arrived back at the hotel, in time for Akeno and Kiba to return and enlighten the others about the test. The group had moved to a restaurant and were enjoying a nice meal as they celebrated. "Congratulations," said Ravel, once the duo had finished explaining. They breezed through the test. "Thank you, Ravel," said Akeno happily. Issei hadn't said anything to the two and Akeno had been eyeing him eagerly, hoping for some praise. However, Issei appeared to be deep in thought. You loved her, why the hell would you tell her that? Are you an idiot?" asked Rainare angrily. Issei didn't respond. "Here you are, free of her for good, a new harem quickly growing, and what do? Tell the woman who betrayed you, that you loved her. What kind of stupid masochist are you?" ranted Rainare. "Issei, are you okay?" asked Irina, bringing Issei's attention back to the present. Oh yeah, I'm fine," said Issei absent-mindedly, sparing a glance to Rias, who quickly looked away. "Issei, my mother has also agreed to speak with you whenever you'd like," said Ravel, getting a nod from Issei. "Again, do I need to point out the similarities between the two princesses?" added Rainare, causing Issei to ignore her once again. The leader of the fallen angels was also present and had been scrutinizing Issei as well, noticing he appeared conflicted. Just as Azazel prepared to speak to Issei, a chill washed over the bodies of those present. "How annoying, it seems Vala was ignored," said Kurika. Issei noticed a familiar mist was rolling in through the entrance of the restaurant. "Partner, you know who this is, don't you?" spoke Drake, appearing on Issei's hand. "Yeah, George and Dimension Lost. The hero faction must be close by, maybe CAO too," said Issei, clenching his fist. Issei quickly stood up and ran out of the restaurant, the others quickly following. "What exactly are you doing?" asked Rainare, floating beside him as he ran. "I'm going to find CAO and take him out, isn't it obvious?" thought Issei, as he neared the lobby of the reception desk, the others not too far behind him. "Why?" asked Rainare in confusion. "I have a score to settle," thought Issei, entering the lobby and looking around. Spotting two people seated on a couch, Issei stretched out his key and identified them as CAO and George. One of them showed surprise at Issei's usage of key and quickly launched an attack at the others, behind Issei. It was headed for Irina and Asia, but Issei, having felt the ill intent behind the attack, appeared in front of it and focused key to his hand, before punching the fireball into oblivion. "I was already itching to take you down a peg after Kyoto, but now you're just making things personal," growled Issei. The two removed the hoods of their robes, revealing their faces to the group. Two youths were revealed, wearing Japanese school uniforms. In addition, one wore a mage-style robe with the uniform, while the other wore ancient Chinese attire over the top. "It's been a while, Red Dragon Emperor. It seems in that time you've changed quite a bit," commented CAO, a young man with short black hair. "It seems I'm not the only one. As I remember, I took one of your eyes during our last battle, but you seem to have two now," said Issei disdainfully. "Luck was truly on your side that day, however, it won't be today," said CAO. "I must say though, your fight against the Bale the other day was magnificent. However, you didn't use any of your unique abilities, leaving me disappointed," continued CAO. "Well, the thing about that, I don't have a bunch of those abilities anymore," said Issei honestly, surprising CAO. "Is that the case? How disappointing, I looked forward to another clash between the two of us, but it seems I'll need to instead focus on our actual goal here today," said Cao in disappointment. "Issei, I was wondering where you went with Volley, but for you to be here, I certainly didn't anticipate that," said Cao. Kurika moved to stand in front of Issei. "We are also shocked, Naya. I thought you'd head to where Volley is," said Kurika. "We sent a different team over there. They are probably battling them as we speak," said Cao calmly. "What are you talking about?" asked Issei in confusion. "Well, this started from two things. The first was the interest Issei had in the two heavenly dragons. Vala found out about this and offered to arrange for Issei to meet the red dragon properly, through his connections," explained Issei joyfully, raising a finger as she did so. "Azazel, I'm guessing," said Issei, to which Issei nodded before raising another finger. "Right. The second reason is that Volley had learned that someone was after Issei from the shadows. To find out who it was, we decided to lure them out, so we could confront the people after Issei directly, by using Issei as bait," finished Issei. "So that would be you then?" said Issei, looking to the Chinese youth. "Yes. We knew that Volley had caught wind of our plans, so we knew he would use Issei as bait to lure us out, but we also knew that Vala wouldn't risk using Issei herself, just as the bait. We knew Issei was interested in the two heavenly dragons of this era, so we split into two groups, one for each of you. Just as we thought, Issei was here, so we ended up meeting like this," explained Cao. "Cao is after me?" asked Issei, twitching her neck slightly. "Yes, Issei. We need Issei, but we don't need the current you," said Cao. "I don't understand, I would not lose to Cao, said Issei calmly. "That would be the case. You are too powerful. To tell the truth, I don't know what would happen if I took you head on, so let's fight for a bit," said Cao, as he stood up and spun his spear quickly. The tip of the spear opened up and a light blade of blinding luminosity was formed. Cao moved swiftly, reaching Issei in an instant and preparing to plunge his spear into the dragon god of infinity, only to find himself stopped. "Sorry, but you won't be finding out what it is like to fight Issei here today," said Issei, even as Cao's eyes widened in shock. "You'll have to go through me first," roared Issei, before slamming his fist into Cao's jaw and releasing his grip on the spear at the point of impact, sending the youth back a few meters, rolling along the floor from the key-enhanced punch. "Impossible! How could a devil like you even bear to touch true Longinus for a moment, let alone hold it still?" exclaimed Cao in bafflement. While Cao was in shock, the two members of Vala's team had been creating a transport circle. The ash-gray wolf that was Fenrir disappeared and was replaced with Issei's rival, Vala. "On your back already? I'm surprised that you've been defeated so easily, Cao, said Vala as he appeared. Issei looked back at his rival, who matched his gaze for a moment. A shared look passed between the two, before both looked to Cao. "Hardly, Vala. I was only momentarily taken aback at the Red Dragon Emperor being able to touch true Longinus," said Cao, quickly regaining his composure. "Coming here with only yourself and George. How bold," commented Vala. "Rather than being bold, I believe that it will be enough with just me and George," said Cao. "Looks like you are confident, Cao. Does it mean you have the so-called Dragon Eater as your trump card? I'm guessing it is a sacred gear possessor, who specializes in dragon slaying, or a new Longinus possessor," guessed Vala, to which Cao shook his head. "No, that's not it, Vala. Dragon Eater was a codename we gave to a being that existed already. We didn't create it, it was already created, by the god from the Bible," said Cao. "Is it time now, Cao? asked the youth wearing the robe, George, a young man with black hair and rectangular framed spectacles. "Yes, all the dragons are here now. We couldn't ask for more. Let's call it, the time for opening the jar from hell has come," declared Cao ominously. "Roger that. So the time to devour the infinite has come then," said George, as a massive magic circle was created behind him. The hotel shook and an ominous aura was emitted from the magic circle. "This presence is an overwhelming intent only directed at a dragon," commented Drake, sounding frightened. A frightening mass started to emerge from the magic circle. A head, quickly followed by a torso bearing black wings, the wings of a fallen angel. The creature was impaled on a cross, with numerous restraining tools crossing over its body, inscribed with creepy-looking letters. Tears of blood fell from its eyes. The lower body of the creature finally emerged, looking quite scaly, snake-like, almost like dragon scales. No, it wasn't a snake, it had the upper body of a fallen angel, but its lower body was unmistakably that of a dragon. Allow me to introduce you to Dragon Eater Samael. It is the snake from the tale of Adam and Eve. In tricking them to eat the fruit of knowledge, it earned the fury of God from the Bible. It received many curses and poisons. Naturally, it is impossible for God, who is sacred, to have evil intentions, that is why it has intense poison. Not only can it damage dragons, but it can also affect things other than dragons, so it was sealed in the depths of Cocytus. The curse it received from God is the ultimate dragon slayer. Said Cao, much to the shock of Azazel. Devour her. Said Cao as he clicked his finger. Something shot past the group, even faster than Issei or Cao had earlier. A weird sound was heard, it sounded like something had been gulped. Looking back, a black block was created at the place where Issei had been previously. A tentacle connected the block to the creature nailed to the cross. In fact, the tentacle was the creature's tongue, looking as black as the night. Balance breaker! Shouted Issei, which was quickly mirrored by his sacred gear. No, Issei. Samael is a creature which is intrinsically poisonous to you, you can't fight it. Warned Azazel. Haha, go ahead Red Dragon, end your life foolishly. Samael is a creature that can even subjugate Issei, what hope do you stand against it? Laughed Cao. Issei ignored both of them as his armor started to form. Much to everyone's confusion, the balance breaker that formed was not the one they had come to recognize. While the color was still red, it was now trimmed in gold and a powerful holy aura was coming off Issei in waves, to the point that all the devils in the room instinctively stepped back. Issei's wings then burst from his back. There were the normal 10 red ones, but now, there were 2 more wings, a golden color, the same as Michael's. Ascalon was in Issei's hand in a moment and he immediately started to power up and boost continuously, boost after boost being announced by his sacred gear. Hey, Cao, it seems you missed the message, so let me fill you in quickly. Said Issei, gaining Cao's attention. While it isn't as strong as it once was, I actually hate most fallen angel to a certain extent, barring a certain few. That being said, the reason I could touch true Longinus, is because I'm not a devil anymore. Said Issei, before his sacred gear announced explosion. I'm now an angel. Roared Issei, before swinging Ascalon down on the tongue of Samael, covering the blade in so much holy energy that it was no longer visible. A wail of the most horrifying proportions was heard, as Issei made contact with the black tentacle, before he managed to cut through it, shocking everyone. As an angel and a dragon, something like Samael, a fallen angel and a dragon slayer, is my natural enemy. Said Issei, before pointing his sword at Cao. You shouldn't underestimate me Cao. Before I took your eye, but this time, I might take your life. You attack Issei, you attacked my friends. All for what? Power? I'll show you so much power you never want a taste of it ever again. Shouted Issei, before a wave of holy energy shot from the blade of Ascalon at Cao, who barely dodged the attack. How is this possible? Stammered Cao in shock. I'm different than I was before. Now, no longer am I only the Red Dragon Emperor. I am a true heavenly dragon, with the power of God on my side. Said Issei, staring down Cao, with eyes burning a mix of gold and green. Talking. Thinking. Drake talking and sacred gear sounds. Drake thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 19, Brink of Death. Cao stared at Issei in shock, momentarily taken aback by his transformation, but he quickly regained himself. George, I will leave the rest to you. It may still be possible to use Samael, but be cautious. After a hit like that, there is no telling what state the ultimate dragon slayer is in. Instructed Cao, getting a nod from his subordinate. Samael won't be an issue. The holy power of heaven is eating away at his body. I am not just a common angel after all. If you don't want that thing to die, you better get rid of it quickly, but that won't matter anyway, as I'm going to take you down here and now, cao, said Issei, before rushing the human. Balance breaker, shouted cao. Issei charged cao, Ascalon gripped tightly, right hand above the left, before swinging it down on cao, who was shrouded in a glow of light. As Issei swung, an orb of light struck his blade. Issei struggled against the orb for a moment, before being repulsed and blown back. Flipping in midair, Issei landed in a crouch, looking at Ascalon with a scrutinizing glance. "What did you do just now?" asked Issei. "Oh, it seems Ascalon survived the first ability of my balance breaker," commented cao in surprise. "It almost didn't if I didn't reinforce it." "What was that?" questioned Issei, narrowing his eyes as he did so. "My first ability, it is the ability to destroy weapons, Chatsucker Ratana. Those who can oppose this ability are quite strong," explained cao, tapping the spear on his shoulder. "Now then, let's try something a little different. Itsute Ratana," said cao, bringing another orb to the forefront, before launching it at Rias and Akeno. "Burst!" exclaimed cao, before the two could react, causing the orb to emit a light that enveloped the duo. "How do you like Itsute Ratana? It can completely seal the unique power women have temporarily. Of course, if you are strong enough, you can cancel this out as well," explained cao, before a fist was launched into his stomach, causing him to cough out spittle and blood. "I'm sorry, was I boring you? Your fight is with me," shouted Issei, before cao was launched back. A screech was heard in the space, causing Issei to quickly turn around. Samael's tongue was now coming towards him. Issei raised his sword and prepared to defend, only for cao to quickly spear him in the shoulder, piercing through his armor, causing his grip to falter. Deciding to avoid the attack rather than block it, Issei leapt to the left, causing the spear to rip through his right shoulder painfully. "Volley! Come with me!" exclaimed Azazel, rushing to meet the human, as his experimental balance breaker formed over his body. "Geez, I wanted to fight him by myself," complained Volley, but headed towards cao nonetheless. "Stupid freak!" growled Issei, turning his gaze on Samael and focusing his powers to Ascalon. "This will finish you off, Holy Nova!" shouted Issei, as he swung his blade downwards, releasing a ball of fire and light energy the size of a basketball at Samael. George quickly leapt into action, forming numerous magical barriers to try and block the attack, only for Issei and Kurika to attack him with magical blasts of their own, forcing him back. As the attack struck the Dragon Eater, another ear-piercing wail was heard. The room heated up considerably, as the remnants of the attack spread through the air, additionally causing a chill to run down the spines of every devil gathered currently. When the smoke surrounding Samael had cleared, the creature looked mildly charred, but otherwise no worse for wear. As the room prepared to counter the next offensive, the magic circle under Samael flickered out and the Dragon Eater disappeared. "Cao, Samael has been recalled," said George nervously. "I see, things are not going well for us now, are they? Very well, since defeating Issei currently is not possible, we will just see to it that the rest of you can't interfere ever again," said Cao, before using the magic contained in his right eye, turning Azazel's legs to stone, before ruthlessly stabbing him in the gut, destroying his fake sacred gear, developed around Fafnir's powers, causing him to cough out blood as he fell to the floor, slowly bleeding out. "You are a worthy foe, Governor of the Fallen Angels, but it only takes one fight to learn how to deal with you and your artificial sacred gear," mocked Cao. "Azazel! Damn you Cao!" shouted Volley enraged, launching an especially large blast of demonic powers towards Cao. "How careless of you, Volley! Mala Ratana!" said Cao, causing another sphere to move in front of him. "Your demonic power is enormous. If I get hit I will die. Guarding against it is too hard, however, with the right use of my balance breaker, I can turn things to my advantage," said Cao, as the sphere in front of him formed a whirlwind, which absorbed the attack completely. Suddenly, the whirlwind disappeared and a new whirlwind was formed in front of Konako. The devil was paralyzed with fear, as the massive attack bore down on her. "Idiot! Why aren't you moving, Chiron?" cried Kurika, before leaping in front of the attack. A massive explosion was heard, echoing throughout the lobby. When the smoke cleared though, instead of a wounded Nico Shao, an angry dragon was revealed. That's twice now you've tried to attack my friends, cao, said Issei coldly. Big sister. Issei, mumbled Konako in shock, at this recent turn of events. If you want to be weak Konako, that's fine, but don't bring others down with you. Get stronger or stay out of the way, said Issei harshly, before shooting off at cao again. Naya, that Issei. Are you okay, Chiron? Asked Kurika softly. Why did the two of you save me? Asked Konako quietly. You are my sister, said Kurika simply, causing the younger girl to look at her in shock. And Issei? Asked Konako. That is more complicated, don't dwell on it, said Kurika. Big sister. I want to be strong, please help me, requested Konako. Of course I will, that is what a big sister is for, said Kurika. As touching as this is, you've let down your guard, said George, as multiple magical circles appeared in front of him, before a blast of magic was launched at the two. Durandal! Exclaimed Zenovia, slashing her holy sword downwards, releasing a wave of holy energy at the oncoming attack. Cao, now! Called George, only for an orb from Cao's balance breaker to absorb Zenovia's attack and redirect it at the charging volley, who took the attack head-on. There, now with one dragon out of the way, I can deal with you, said Cao, looking towards the angry red dragon emperor. That won't keep Vala down, said Issei confidently. No, but this will. Atsusa Ratana, said Cao as one of his orbs touched him, causing him to disappear this time, allowing him to reappear above the downed volley. I won't kill you, of course, no, your growth is too fascinating for that, but I will stop you for now. You should be able to survive this, don't disappoint me, said Cao, before plunging true long Inus into Vala's right leg, causing him to grunt in pain. Yuato took the chance, when Cao had his sword plunged into Vala's leg, to rush Cao with a holy demonic sword, but alas, Cao quickly raised his spear and blocked the attack. Irina then rushed to attack as well, helping support Yuato's slashes, while Zenovia focused on keeping George occupied, with assistance from Kurika. Asia finally snapped into action and made her way over to the downed Azazel and Vala, attempting to heal them. Ravel stayed back with Rias and Akeno, who were hopelessly watching the fight play out, with Konako in a similar state. You are both talented users of a blade, but you are both still growing, meaning, I can beat you both easily, said Cao, only to be tackled by Issei. Did you forget about me? Asked Issei, before slamming Cao through a wall. The wall was obliterated, leaving only dust to cloud the scene. I must say this human body of mine, trained as it may be, was not built to be able to withstand too many attacks like that. I did not come here for a death match though, and staying any longer will lead to the end of one of us, Issei Hyuda. We will meet again, but not today. George, let us both leave them for the Grim Reapers, said Cao, standing up and wiping the blood off his mouth. Are you sure that is wise? Hades won't appreciate us leading his men into a battle where their victory is slim, asked George. Hades? So that bastard is working with you too? Spat Azazel, now healed. Indeed. I dare say he is quite interested in gaining a foothold of power and would do anything to achieve it. I have no reason to follow his wishes though, I am not dead yet. Good luck getting out of here alive, I dare say you'll need it. Farewell for now, said Cao, before he and George disappeared. Line break. After the battle, the group of assorted warriors had gathered in the middle of the fake hotel, constructed by George. The area was slowly weakening, proof that he and Cao had really left. Asia had finished healing Vala and Azazel, and the group was now planning out how to escape from this dimension. As Cao had said, swarms of Grim Reapers, all clad in dark cloaks and scythes with various trinkets decorating them, had appeared, hovering around the hotel. Kurika and Konako sat together with Issei. The two former members of Chaos Brigade were focusing on how to escape the barrier. Vala stood off by himself, looking out a window towards the Grim Reapers below. The members of Rias Gramarie's peerage, barring Konako, were gathered around Azazel, who was discussing their escape plan. Lastly, Irina, Zenovia and Ravel were playing cards with Issei to pass the time. Exactly why are you brooding now? You won, asked Rainare, sitting to Issei's left, as he looked out the window to his right, from his seated position, right arm resting against the windowsill. I didn't win. He escaped. Said Issei quietly, so none of the others would hear him. Hello. He ran away after you got one hit on him. That is a loss in every sense of the word. Sure, he is alive, but that hardly counts as winning. Said Rainare. So I guess you lost then. Retorted Issei. I'm going to let that slide just this once. Said Rainare, with pursed lips. Partner, you are being entirely unreasonable. You protected your friends. Even more than that, you repelled Samael himself, a being even Albion and I fear. You should be proud. Said Drake. Exactly, you won. You are strong. You are just being unreasonable now. Added Rainare. Issei didn't respond to the words of the two and merely continued to glance out the window. If I'm not becoming strong enough to defeat all my enemies, as well as protect all my friends, what is the point? Asked Issei. What is the point? What are you on about? Did you forget your dream of a harem? Have you given up on breasts? Asked Rainare in shock. Of course not. Snapped Issei, confusing the rest of the room, who only caught his outburst at the end and not what was said before. Issei blushed slightly in embarrassment, before turning his gaze back out the window. If I am going to have a harem, I need to be able to protect it. Thought Issei. You did. Exclaimed Rainare in frustration. No, I only delayed the threat coming to them. To protect them, I need to beat everyone who wants to harm them. Thought Issei. Then you will never be able to protect them. They will get hurt eventually. You can't stop that. The only thing you can really do, is make sure you are there for them when they really need it. Most of them are fighters too after all. They aren't just going to stand by on the sidelines, with all of this stuff going on. Said Rainare. She is right, partner. Your harem is by no means weak. While there will always be someone stronger than them and stronger than you too, it is important that you do not obsess over them. The last time you obsessed over someone. Said Drake, trailing off at the end. Yeah, the first time you obsessed over someone, you nearly killed yourself, or did you forget about me already? I don't know how you could have, considering I'm right in front of you every day, but you are a special kind of idiot, so I suppose it is possible. Then there is the last time you obsessed over someone. I doubt you've forgotten about that either. Sighed Rainare. Red Dragon, why are you sitting alone? Asked Off-Eyes, causing Issei to look away from the mirror and notice the apathetic girl. Off-Eyes, are you okay? Asked Issei reflexively. I am infinite. Answered Off-Eyes, causing Issei to smile slightly in amusement. Right, so what is it? Asked Issei. Why are you sitting alone? Repeated Off-Eyes. I just needed some time to think. Replied Issei. Think? About what? Inquired Off-Eyes, tilting her head to the side. It's nothing. Said Issei, standing up and walking towards the others. You were thinking about the dimensional gap. Questioned Off-Eyes, tilting her head to the other side. Huh. Replied Issei in confusion, stopping in his tracks. You said nothing. The dimensional gap is nothing. There is only me, Great Red and nothing. Elaborated Off-Eyes. Oh, I was just thinking about how I need to be stronger. Confessed Issei, sitting back down by the window. Why do you need to be stronger? You said before that you wanted to grow emotionally? Is this what you meant? Asked Off-Eyes, with a hint of curiosity working its way into her tone. No, not exactly. I want to get stronger, to protect the people I care about. Said Issei. Who do you care about? Asked Off-Eyes. Whoa, now there is a loaded question if I've ever heard one. Commented Rainare in amusement. My friends and family. Answered Issei. Who are your friends? Asked Off-Eyes. Well, there is Irina, Zenovia, Ravel, Kurika, and the rest. Said Issei, who started by listing off the names of those close to him, before rushing his words to end his sentence abruptly. You did protect those four. Stated Off-Eyes, tilting her head to the other side once again. Well, I guess, but what if Cao was fighting seriously? Retorted Issei. Are you scared of Cao? Asked Off-Eyes. No, replied Issei quickly. Then why do you need to be stronger? Are you not strong enough? Asked Off-Eyes again. It's complicated. Said Issei, feeling out of his depth in the conversation. Why? You want to protect people and you protected them. Why do you need to be stronger if you can do what you want to do? I want to get strong people together to get rid of Great Red because I am not strong enough to kick him out of my home. Continued Issei. This is different. If you get rid of Great Red, it is done, over. I won't ever be able to stop protecting the people I care about. Explained Issei. They are strong too, right? Asked Issei. Yeah, I guess so. Admitted Issei. Why do you need to protect them? Asked Issei. I don't need to, I want to. It's human nature to want to protect those close to you, even if they don't really need it. Elaborated Issei. Human nature is still weird to me. You are not even human anymore. Said Issei. Yeah, it is weird. Come on, let's go to the others and see what their plan for getting out of here is. Said Issei, standing up once again and leading the apathetic dragon girl to the others. Ah, so nice of you to join us, you're right on time anyway. There are 3 magical receivers blocking us from leaving here, we need to destroy them to destabilize the barrier. Explained Azazel. I can destroy them. Said Issei, before lifting a tiny hand up, in the direction of the receiver on the roof. Wait, don't. Cried Azazel, causing the dragon god to look at him. Why? Asked Issei, still not lowering her hand. There is no telling what kind of effect Samael had on you, your powers might be unstable. Explained Azazel. Issei gave a small grunt, before looking upwards. In the next moment, a concussive blast of energy shot out from Issei's hand and launched the others away, the closest ones cradling their ears in pain. Yes. My powers are unstable. Confirmed Issei, before letting her hand drop. Yes, well, in any case, we can send 2 people out of here thanks to Issei and Kurika's combined magical abilities, but it will only work once. Irina, I suggest you go, Michael and Sertsk need to be informed of the situation. Said Azazel, getting an uneasy nod from Irina, as they all got back to their feet. What about Ravel though? Asked Irina. Ravel, can we protect without the mindset of needing to protect you? Asked Azazel. Before Ravel could respond, Issei interjected. You should send a devil though, if only to help convince the higher UPS in the devil community, about what is really happening. Said Issei. It'll be fine, Issei, the devils will be informed by their own soon enough, but we need to act fast. The angels are united under the command of Michael, while the devils are, sadly, not united. For this reason, Michael will be able to deal with the situation faster than Sertsk can, while also being able to inform him. Explained Azazel. Fine, but I'm not going. Said Issei. Of course not, you will be part of our vanguard, we can't let you go. Zenovia, it would be best for you to go. You won over many devils in your fight against Sarayorg and despite your capitulation, your word will help. Said Azazel. I understand. I would have preferred to stay and fight though. Commented Zenovia, getting a small nod from Azazel. Whenever you are ready. Said Azazel, causing Issei and Kurika to spring into action and prepare their escape plan. The plan is to take out the 2 receivers on the roof and hall first, then we will make our way to the car park, towards the 3rd one. Explained Azazel. Leave it to me then. Said Issei, before his armor formed over him again. Twin Holy Nova. Said Issei, forming 2 spheres of holy destructive power in front of his palms, which were angled towards separate receivers. Wave. Finished Issei, launching 2 destructive beams of energy through the fake hotel. 2 receivers were destroyed. We are ready to leave as well. Issei informed the others. Go then, Irina, Zenovia, we need to prepare at once. Said Azazel, getting 2 nods, from the 2 angels. Right, let's go, Zenovia. Said Irina, getting a nod from her former partner, before Issei and Kurika helped the 2 escape the barrier. We can't do that again, as we suspected. The barrier has just automatically strengthened itself, so that method won't work again. Revealed Issei, getting a grim nod from the leader of the Grigori. Right, let's get moving then. Issei, can you do another attack like that in the direction of the car park? Asked Azazel. Easily, just give me a moment. Said Issei, as he was engulfed in the reddish-black miasma of energy, that made up his unique brand of senjutsu. Holy Nova Wave! Cried Issei, launching another blistering, bright orange blast of energy, through the artificial construct. Now, rush the Grim Reapers while they are scattered. exclaimed Azazel, as the group charged out of the building, through the large gaping hole Issei had created, before engaging the scythe wielders. It seemed that the Grim Reapers would be formidable based on their sheer numbers alone, numbering in the thousands. However, one fighter on the side of the collective allies proved to be able to take out dozens of Grim Reapers at a time. It may have also been due to the Gremory group regaining some of their morale, due to fighting alongside Issei once again. "Well, it seems that we have been betrayed as well," said an ominous voice, echoing around the car park, before a distortion in the field appeared, out of which a new hooded figure entered the battlefield. The hood quickly fell from the figure, revealing his face. Well, face was not entirely correct, as the figure was wearing a mask, similar to one worn by a clown. His aura was nothing to laugh at though, easily surpassing that of all the other Reapers, in terms of sheer darkness, and his scythe was very black as well, almost appearing to be darkness itself. "You are?" gasped Azazel, only for the figure to bow. "This is my first time seeing you, Governor of the Fallen Angels. I am one of the Grim Reapers that serves under Master Hades. My name is Pluto," said the figure. "The ultimate level Grim Reaper Pluto, to send a Grim Reaper that appears even in legend. That skeleton geezer sure did something unexpected," commented Azazel, with a bitter smile. "You who have allied with the boss of the terrorists, Issei, and tried to break the alliance between the allied factions. That will result in your death. For you who has been talking about alliances to do such a thing," said Pluto, causing Azazel to scowl. "So it is like that, is it? How far ahead have you been planning?" asked Azazel, his eyes boring holes into the masked figure's visage. "Not far enough it seems, since this barrier is not being maintained anymore. It seems our mutual acquaintances have left this battle between us. It will of course bode ill for them for doing so. Master Hades does not appreciate betrayal. However, they at least partially fulfilled their duties. I will be taking off eyes now," said Pluto, before disappearing in a burst of speed that was almost invisible. Azazel just barely managed to intercept the Grim Reaper's scythe with the spear of his artificial sacred gear. "I took a bit of damage thanks to CAO, as did my artificial sacred gear, but not using it will be dangerous I guess," said Azazel, before he quickly equipped his armor onto himself. As his 12 black wings shot out of his back, Azazel pushed Pluto into the sky. "Azazel!" exclaimed Issei. "Issei, deal with the barrier, I will be his opponent," said Azazel, before continuing his battle against the Grim Reaper. The rest of the Grim Reapers swarmed the group, hoping to take them out, only to find their advance quickly rebuffed. Even without Issei's help, the group easily tore through the hooded figures, with Issei and Vala leading the charge. Eventually, the group made their way to the device, which was just barely maintaining the barrier, while Azazel kept Pluto occupied. Just before any attempt could be made to destroy it though, a sound like breaking glass was heard. The sound of a hole being created in a dimension. A hole opened in the sky and a man wearing armor and a cape appeared. "It has been a while, Red Dragon Emperor." "And Vala," said the man, glaring at Issei, before swiveling his glare to Vala. "Shalba Beelzebub," said Azazel, rejoining the group. "What happened to Pluto?" asked Issei. "He slipped away from here when Shalba showed up," griped Azazel. Where are Siegfried and George?" questioned Shalba. "George left hours ago, only his barrier remained. As for Siegfried, he never showed up here at all," said Vala. "How odd, and after I went to all the trouble of capturing this boy, to show my intent for war with them," said Shalba, dropping a boy he had hidden within his cape to the ground. "In any case, I can still carry out my original goal in coming here today," said Shalba, as he descended from the sky, a small magic circle forming within his hand, which he put closer towards the boy. The boy started to scream loudly in pain, while his shadow seemed to expand. Annihilation Maker is a very splendid and idealistic ability. I kidnapped this boy, the wielder of Annihilation Maker, by monitoring the movements of the hero faction and kidnapped him when the time was right. Now, I will have him create it. A monster that can eliminate the current devils of the underworld," laughed Shalba, over the screams of pain coming from the boy. A monster of titanic proportions started to grow from the boy's shadow. A head that was too big to be real. A torso that dwarfed them all. Arms that made tree trunks look like splinters and legs that could compete with skyscrapers. The monstrosity created was even larger than Great Red, sending a chill of nervousness down the backs of the allies. While this was going on, many smaller shadows were also forming, numbering in the hundreds. Suddenly, a large magic circle appeared under all of them. It was a transportation circle. I'm planning to transport these monsters to the underworld, to wreak havoc. Laughed Shulba. Stop them! Shouted Azazel. The group attacked the monsters to no avail. While some of the smaller monsters were hurt and even destroyed outright, the behemoth was barely scratched. With one last flare of light, the monsters disappeared. Bastard! Spat Azazel. Haha, why do you even care for those devils, fallen angel? I will bring about the destruction of the underworld with my monsters. No one will be spared. You, Red Dragon Emperor, all those children who cheer for you, they will all die painful deaths. Curse and despair as I destroy all hope. Shouted Shulba, his eyes completely awash with madness. Now though, I will take the other thing I came here for. Said Shulba, pointing his hand towards Offeyes as he did so. A spiral of demonic energy wrapped around Offeyes and bound her. Ha, just like the information I gathered said, the current Offeyes has unstable powers, even I can capture her now. Cackled Shulba in amusement. The barrier is at its limit. Right now we can escape. I will activate the magic circle, then all of us can leave this place. Cried Kurika. The group of assembled supernatural beings all gathered around Kurika, all except for Issei. Issei, what are you waiting for? Asked Azazel. I will rescue Offeyes and deal with Shulba. Declared Issei. By yourself? At least have Vala stay and help you. Said Azazel. No. Vala, you saw that thing right. There are only a handful of people who can stop that thing and you are one of them. I will deal with things here and you guys can deal with those monsters and Grim Reapers, just in case they try something. Said Issei. Hyuda, when the space destabilizes, make sure you are in your balance breaker armor. It will be the only thing that will keep you alive in that place. Warned Vala. Got it. Nodded Issei. Issei. I will open the dragon gate afterwards to summon you and Offeyes. You are okay with that, right? Suggested Azazel. No, I will come back myself. Focus on the bad guys. Oh, and hold on to this guy, he might be useful. Said Issei, picking up the boy Shulba had brought with him, before throwing him to the others. Now go. Ordered Issei. The group heeded Issei's words and left after that, leaving Issei alone with Shulba and Offeyes, in a dimension that was slowly crumbling. You are my opponent. Sneered Shulba. Don't worry, I'll make this quick. Taunted Issei, causing Shulba to grit his teeth in outrage. Impudent brat. You are a failure of a heavenly dragon. To think you believe you can defeat me, just how much do you dragons have to look down on me? Snarled Shulba. What is your reason for coming after me? Offeyes? Is that it, you want more power? Asked Shulba. Of course I want Offeyes and of course I want power. The reason I'm coming after you though, for the chance to kick your sorry ass. Declared Issei. You defeat me? There aren't enough miracles in the world for something like that to happen. Scoffed Shulba. You want to kill children, devils, your own people. What kind of idiot does that? Asked Issei. My people? Those devils grew up under the authority of fake satans. They are lower than bugs. Even if I let them grow up to adulthood, they wouldn't show me, the true Satan, the respect I deserve. So devils like them should all disappear. Spat Shulba in rage. Who would show you respect? You are pathetic. Borrowing and stealing the powers of others just to stay relevant. You aren't even beneath me, you are so far below me that I can't even see you. Taunted Issei. I will make you kneel. Shouted Shulba in anger, before pointing his hands towards Issei. A wave of bees shot from a distortion in front of Shulba's hands and encircled Issei. Boost! Screamed Issei and the boosted gear in sync. The bees were vaporized by Issei's increased aura, surprising Shulba. Shulba had no time to react though, as a gauntlet was soon buried in his gut, causing him to cough up blood. You lowlife! Roared Shulba in anger, as he leapt backwards to create space between them, before creating numerous magic circles, all of which released different elemental attacks. Fire, water, lightning, ice, and more. All of them rushed Issei, but to him, they were crawling towards him. You aren't even a good warm-up. Called Issei, before shooting through the attacks and burying his fist into Shulba's face, shattering his nose on contact and launching him back a few meters, as the multitude of attacks Shulba had launched at him, exploded behind him. Shulba cursed repeatedly, as he tried to stem the flow of blood from his face, causing Issei to look at him in boredom. Really? After all that talk, is this it? Asked Issei, shoulders sagging slightly. What? Hissed Shulba, as the veins in his face and neck strained to bursting point. You said you were a Satan, but your power is barely a match for most high-class devils. You say dragons look down on you, but you can't even see them. You're just a dog barking at the sun. You think you can handle Issei? You think you can beat Vala, me? You're out of your mind. Commented Issei. Shulba laughed at this, confusing Issei. You talk a lot. A mere rotten dragon. A former human. Garbage. Trash. Who are you to make a fool out of a Satan such as myself? Roared Shulba, before launching more demonic attacks at Issei. Instead of dodging, Issei stood there and took all the hits, swiping his hand to the side when the attacks had finished to remove the smoke, revealing himself unharmed. You can't even scratch me. If I wanted to, with one attack, I could utterly destroy you. If I use my light powers I would eradicate your very existence. Said Issei, causing Shulba to grind his teeth madly. You shitty heavenly dragon. How about this? Growled Shulba. Shulba sprinkled, what appeared to be blood, over a magic circle within his hand. Aiming the magic circle at Issei, Shulba laughed. If you are so confident, then take this. Roared Shulba, launching an arrow from the magic circle. Issei stood there impassively, awaiting the arrow, preparing to tank the attack again. No. Move, you idiot. Shouted Rainare, confusing Issei, which caused him to shift slightly to face the apparition, only for a dull thud to sound out from his chest. Issei coughed and was surprised to feel blood splash onto his face, within the helmet of his balance breaker. Surprised? That arrow was covered with the blood of Samael. I was planning on saving that for Vala, just in case, but for me to use it against garbage like you, no matter now. With this, the tables have turned. If you had a strong aptitude for demonic powers like Vala, then you could have endured it a bit. But for someone like you, who seems to have no talent in demonic powers, then you will die. Said Shulba smugly, only to scowl, as Issei laughed. Wait. Demonic powers, ha ha, you mean you don't know? Asked Issei, even as he coughed again, filling his helmet up with more blood. No what? Asked Shulba. I'm not a devil anymore. Said Issei, taking amusement when Shulba's face showed shock. Impossible. How are you even alive then? Asked Shulba. You really are stupid. I said light powers. I could destroy you with my light powers. What devil has power over light? Laughed Issei. Impossible. Shouted Shulba. Nah, just improbable. I almost didn't survive, but I did and I became your polar opposite, an angel. Said Issei, releasing his 10 crimson and 2 gold wings behind him. You. An angel. Don't make me laugh. Hissed Shulba. Here, catch. Said Issei in amusement, forming a light spear in his left hand. Shulba's eyes widened in disbelief, right before the spear was buried into his right shoulder. Gwah! Cried Shulba in pure agony, as he felt the light burn his very insides. Issei. Issei. Give me that snake one more time. Then I shall attain the power that is beyond the previous Satan. I need that snake to beat this man. Exclaimed Shulba, rushing to the still-bound Issei. Right now I am unstable. I can't make the snake that increases strength. Said Issei, causing Shulba's face to contort with despair. At least face your end with some dignity. You are losing to not only a dragon, but an angel, one who even now, is being poisoned by Samael's curse, but can still outmatch you easily. I'll admit, devils haven't been my favorite set of creatures recently, but going after kids is unacceptable. For such a pathetic reason too. Your magic is weak. Your body is weak. Your mind is weak. You are weak, Shulba Beelzebub. Now die. Said Issei, gathering another holy nova with some difficulty. Hee, ha ha, fuhaha. Either way, you will also die from Samael's curse. Red Dragon Emperor. Laughed Shulba madly. Not really. You were right, I have no aptitude for demonic powers. That is true. However, I funnily enough, have a pretty good grasp over light magic and senjutsu, So even now, you will die without taking me down with you. Goodbye, cowardly Satan with no pride. Holy Nova, said Issei, before launching the quickly expanding, dark orange ball of death at Shulba, who screamed as it enveloped him, before he was eradicated completely. Issei then made his way over to Offeyes and cut the magical rope binding her. Red Dragon, you are hurt. Why did you help me? Asked Offeyes. Offeyes, you and I are alike. We both want something, but aren't sure how to get it and try a lot of things to try and succeed. Even if I couldn't show you what love is, I like to think that I at least showed you what friendship is. Said Issei, before coughing again, causing him to retract his helmet, causing a cup full of blood to splash out, with some still trickling down the sides of his mouth. Friendship? Asked Offeyes. Yeah, everything we did, talking with each other, sharing our thoughts, that's what friends do. Said Issei. Friends? Asked Offeyes. Yeah. Don't you want to be my friend? Asked Issei. Friend? What's the benefit if I become that? Asked Offeyes. We can talk with each other about things. Said Issei. I see. That sounds fun. Said Offeyes. Okay, in that case, we better get out of here, the place is falling apart. Said Issei, before feeling a wave of dizziness wash over him, causing him to drop to his knees. Issei focused all the light energy he could to his wound, purging at least some of the poison, allowing him to stand up again. Why the hell did you let that attack hit you? You could have easily dodged it. Ranted Rainare. I didn't know you cared that much about me. Mumbled Issei in amusement, causing Offeyes to tilt her head questioningly. Hey Offeyes, you want to know a secret? Asked Issei. A secret? Questioned Offeyes. It is something you don't tell a lot of people, or even anyone. Said Issei. Tell me. Said Offeyes. I can see and hear a ghost in my head. No one else can see her, but there is a fallen angel right next to me now, yelling at me. Laughed Issei, before coughing up more blood. Offeyes looked to both sides of Issei and saw nothing. Should I get rid of it? Asked Offeyes. Nah, your powers are still unstable, remember. Besides, it doesn't really matter, they can't do anything. Said Issei, with a wry grin. Come on Offeyes, we better get out of here. Said Issei, getting a nod from the small girl. Issei focused and tried to open the gate to heaven, only to fail. Oh man, we might have a problem. Muttered Issei. Partner. Keep it together, focus. I'll help you as much as I can. Said Drake. Drake? You're okay. Said Issei weakly, a small smile appearing on his face. That arrow knocked me out for a moment, but I'm here now. Together, let us try and open the gate together. Said Drake. The two focused and tried to open the gate again, only to fail. Damn it. I really shouldn't have used up so much power in those fights, without getting healed at some point. Grumbled Issei, falling onto his behind. You stupid idiot. What were you thinking? Shouted Rainare. Shhh, leave me to pass out in peace. Said Issei sleepily. Red Dragon, are you okay? Asked Offeyes. Yeah. I just need a bit of time to deal with that damn curse. I think it hit my lung too. Huffed Issei. Partner, stay with me. You are containing it somewhat, but if you fall asleep or pass out now, it will spread. Focus. Exclaimed Drake in worry. Don't worry Drake, it'll be fine. Said Issei, his eyes starting to drop. I won't let you die. If you die, I'll die too. Shouted Rainare. You're already dead. Besides, I'm not going to die here anyway, relax, both of you, I'm just taking a little rest. Said Issei, who was barely keeping himself seated upright. You better appreciate this. Said Rainare, before dissolving into a multitude of black and red particles, which converged on Issei's wound. Whoa, Drake, am I starting to hallucinate? What just happened? Asked Issei. I don't know, partner, but whatever that was, it seems to be containing the poison, for now at least. Said Drake. That's good, I guess. Muttered Issei, before letting his back hit the floor. Red Dragon. Drake, the curse has spread through most of his body. Said Offeyes. I know. He won't die though. He always keeps getting back up. He has survived worse than this. Said Drake, about the sleeping Issei. Offeyes, do you want to talk about him, our friend? asked Drake. Yes, tell me about him. Was he a good red dragon emperor? Agreed Issei, sitting beside Issei's left hand. He was the best red dragon emperor I've ever had, said Drake. Line break. Issei sat up and found himself in an empty expanse of white, yellow and orange. It took his eyes a moment to adjust, but when they did, he focused on something that stood out of place heavily. Haha, I can't believe that even after all this time, you still weren't able to move past me. It's kind of sad really, but I guess even I'm a little flattered that I had that much of an impact on you, said Rainare. Rainare? You sound different, commented Issei. That's because I'm the real thing, not that fake entity your little addled brain put together, said Rainare, with a smirk. Oh, so what now, are you here to mock me while I'm hovering between life and death? That's nice, scoffed Issei, sitting himself down on the floor. Well, that was the original idea. I mean, I hate devils. Sure, you might be an angel now, something I still don't believe, but to me, you will always be that weak little devil, crying over a poor nun, in the middle of a church, praying and pleading, said Rainare, walking up to Issei, until she was standing right in front of him. Issei looked up and saw Rainare smirk down at him. Enjoying the view from down there? Teased Rainare. I've seen worse. I've seen better too though, you aren't that special, sighed Issei, only for Rainare to squat down to his level. Really? At the end of your life, you could see anyone you wanted, friends, family, but instead, you are seeing me. Why is that, any, Issei? Asked Rainare, switching to her more innocent voice towards the end. Can't you just leave me alone? You are dead. Aren't you supposed to cease from existence? That's what happens to fallen angels that die, right? Hissed Issei. Well, that's not entirely true. Fallen angels are beings of sin, not evil, but sin. Of course, if there is someone near us at the time of our death, who has enough of a connection with us, well, there is a little trick we can pull to live on, confessed Rainare in glee, enjoying Issei's shocked expression. That's right, since you couldn't really forget about me, not then in the church and not even now, a part of my soul has been inside you this whole time. I know everything about you, all your deepest fears and greatest hopes. That fake of me you saw, a part of me was in that too. Of course, that isn't the reason you saw me. True, you could have seen anyone, even with me inside you, but you saw me. Did you ever stop to think how that version of me your mind created, managed to know things that you didn't? That was a little gift from me. An angel's voice, info about Azazel. You didn't really think your brain could make those things up, said Rainare, with a grin, before pressing her index finger to his forehead. I was right here, all this time, finished Rainare happily. Issei pushed the fallen angel's hand away from his forehead and stood up, backing away from her, much to her amusement. You stay the hell away from me, roared Issei. Really? That's what you want to go with? Laughed Rainare, as she stood to her feet again. I hate you. You are a murderer, a cruel scheming murder, shouted Issei. I might be a murderer, but so are you. That weak little devil you just vaporized wasn't exactly dust. As for scheming, well, I am scheming, I can't deny that, but so are those others. The devil who just happened to be there to revive you when I killed you. Her brother who used you to break his little sister's engagement. That devil who wanted to add little Asia to his collection. How about that other boy with the divine dividing, who turned on Azazel? Let's not forget that redhead's cousin, who wanted to use you to look better when he beat you. I could go on, but I think I made my point. Even your little angel was scheming, after all, they couldn't let the red dragon slip away from them, now could they? Said Rainare, advancing on Issei. What do you want from me? Do you get off on torturing me while I'm barely hanging on to life? Haven't you messed up my life enough? All of this, devils, dragons, angels, none of it would have ever happened, if it wasn't for you, Rainare. Spat Issei. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I am important to you, I think we both know that much now, however, there is no guarantee that you wouldn't have been made a devil by her later on down the road. Maybe even those humans would have tried to recruit you for your sacred gear, who is to say? Said Rainare, now standing right in front of Issei. Either way though, I already got what I wanted long ago, or did you forget? Now you are almost giving it to me a second time. If only you had just stayed down the first time. Sighed Rainare. Will you die for me? I did. Said Issei. You did, but then you got back up and ending up getting me killed. Oh well. It won't really happen though. You did get stronger, strong enough that you will survive this. I should know after all. Remember, I've been with you through it all. Said Rainare. I really did love you, you know. Mumbled Issei, getting Rainare to quirk an eyebrow. What is your point? Asked Rainare curiously. I loved you. I would have done anything for you, even gone against Rias. You were my girlfriend. I sold my porn collection to pay for our date, even if you mocked me for it. I didn't look at any other girl for those few days I had you. You could have easily manipulated me against the other factions and I wouldn't have even given it a second thought, but you were too damn stupid to see all of that. You ended my life on a whim and threw me into all of this. I was just a horny teenager and you forced me to become a monster, someone who can annihilate a Satan without a second thought. Admitted Issei. I know. Truth be told, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, being your girlfriend. Said Rainare, lifting her hand up, to show Issei the bracelet he gave her on their first and only date. But you can't change the past. What's done is done. Said Rainare, shrugging her shoulders. You know. I would have done it. Muttered Issei, confusing Rainare. Done what? Asked Rainare in confusion. Died for you. Not by letting you kill me, I mean I would have risked my life to keep you safe. Just like I risked my life to keep Rias safe. Just like I will risk my life to keep Gabriel safe. I might not have been very strong then, but my love for you was. Said Issei. You still aren't going to let me go, are you? Commented Rainare in amusement. Issei didn't respond to Rainare's question, causing her to smirk. That's fine, because I'm pretty much stuck with you until you really die. Well, it's about time for you to leave here now anyway. Said Rainare, taking a step back and looking upwards. What did that other you do? Before I passed out? Asked Issei. I simply helped reduce the severity of the poison. Samael is part fallen angel after all. Answered Rainare. What? Why? If that Rainare was part of you, why would you want to save me? Asked Issei in confusion. I told you, didn't I? I've been inside your little mind all this time, I've seen, felt and heard everything you've done since that day. Said Rainare in amusement. Despite it all though, you managed to achieve what you wanted to back then, but couldn't pull off, even if you tried your hardest. Continued Rainare. What is that? Asked Issei, as Rainare closed the distance between them again. You made me fall in love with you. Whispered Rainare, before pressing her lips against Issei's. Line break. Gabriel, Issei isn't back yet, what should we do? Asked Irina. Well, I believe there is something we may be able to do to help Issei return to us. If we can gather 3 angels with strong feelings of love for him, we can utilize a special technique called Trinity Recall, to bring him back. Said Gabriel. Well then let's do it. With Zenovia's help, I'm sure the 3 of us can do it. Cheered Irina. No, sadly, I do not have the strong feelings of love required for this task. I only love Issei as I love all angels currently. I'm sorry. Confessed Gabriel. Irina's shoulders sagged at this, before she quickly perked back up again. Murayama. She might have only just become an angel, but I'm sure she loves Issei. Exclaimed Irina. Well, it is worth a try I suppose. I will make the preparations for the ritual. Please gather Zenovia and Murayama, then come to the 6th level of heaven when you do. We will need Michael's help for this. Said Gabriel. Line break. It was hardly 5 minutes after that Irina had returned with Zenovia and Murayama. Irina, is this important? The underworld is still fighting against those things. Said Zenovia. What's going on? Asked Murayama. Just come with me, I'll explain later. Said Irina, as she dragged the 2 confused girls with her. Welcome back Irina. Hello Zenovia and Murayama, it is nice to see you. Said Gabriel. Of course Lady Gabriel, it is an honor, but what exactly are we doing here? Asked Zenovia, with a small bow. We are going to bring Issei back. It's been almost a full day now and he should be back by now. Something has to be wrong, so we will help him come back. Explained Irina. Yes, Irina is right, if not a little enthusiastic. Said Michael, with a smile, causing Irina to blush slightly. Now, Zenovia, Murayama, you 2 and Irina need to focus on your love for Issei. There is no telling if this will work, as the 3 angels used to perform this ritual have never been reincarnated angels before, but you 3 are the best option to ensure success in this endeavor," said Michael, getting a nod from the 3 girls. "Very well then, come stand here around this altar," said Michael, gesturing to a small 2 by 2 raised platform, adorned with gold around the edges and motifs of doves. The girls walked towards the altar and took positions around it, with Irina at the base, Zenovia and Murayama at the sides and Michael at the head of the altar. "Now, close your eyes and think of your love for Issei, I will do the rest," instructed Michael. The girls closed their eyes and focused. Michael released his wings and his halo appeared on his head, as he held his hands together in prayer. A gold light started to spread out from the middle of the altar, slowly expanding, until the entire altar was bathed in a luminous golden glow, before seemingly shattering and scattering through the air. "Well, this is most unexpected," said Michael, causing the 3 girls to open their eyes. There on the platform was Issei in his balance breaker armor, as they had sought. The surprise though, came from the black-winged fallen angel, resting atop his form. Line break. End of canon chapter. Line break. Abhorrently long, as I promised. Now, also as I promised, the alternate ending. Before you read it though, you need to know a few things. Had I gone with this route, Issei would not, I repeat, would not have seen the apparition of Rainare everywhere he went, raising his doubts out loud and commenting on things. In other words, what I want you all to take away from this, is aside from the hearing of Rainare's "Will you die for me?" line, Issei never spoke with, or confronted Rainare at any point and that the last time he saw her, was when she died. Now, picking off from where things diverge. "You shitty heavenly dragon. How about this?" growled Shulba. Shulba sprinkled, what appeared to be blood, over a magic circle within his hand. Aiming the magic circle at Issei, Shulba laughed. "If you are so confident, then take this," roared Shulba, launching an arrow from the magic circle. Issei stood there impassively, awaiting the arrow, preparing to tank the attack again. As the arrow reached Issei, he made no move to dodge it, fully assured in his victory, so he was quite surprised when he felt the arrow pierce through his armor. Issei coughed up a wad of blood and looked down, only to see the arrow lodged into where his heart would be. "You fool! That was an arrow imbued with blood from Samael. I had saved that arrow for volley, just in case, but for me to use it on garbage like you. I'm embarrassed," laughed Shulba. "Shit, I got careless. Still, even if you got a good hit on me, I'm not letting you leave here," growled Issei, causing Shulba to flinch, as Issei advanced on him. "No. How are you alive? How are you still moving?" asked Shulba in fear. Afais. Afais. Give me that snake one more time. Then I shall attain the power that is beyond the previous Satan. I need that snake to beat this man," exclaimed Shulba, rushing to the still-bound Afais. "Right now I am unstable. I can't make the snake that increases strength," said Afais, causing Shulba's face to contort with despair. "At least die with some dignity," said Issei, gathering another holy nova, with a great deal of difficulty. "Hee ha ha, fuhaha. Either way, you will also die from Samael's curse. Red Dragon Emperor," laughed Shulba madly. "That may be, but at least I'll get the satisfaction of stopping you here and now." "Holy nova," said Issei, releasing his attack and annihilating the madly laughing devil. Issei made his way to Afais and cut the magical rope binding her. "Red Dragon, you are hurt. Why did you help me?" asked Afais. "Because, you don't deserve to be used by people like this. People who only want you for power," said Issei, dropping to his knees. "Hey Afais, want to be friends?" asked Issei. "Friend? What's the benefit if I become that?" asked Afais. "We can talk with each other about things," said Issei. "I see. That sounds fun," said Afais. "Okay, in that case, we better get out of here," said Issei, as he made to stand up, before coughing up another wad of blood. Issei then retracted his helmet, causing blood to gush everywhere. "Partner, hang on," said Drake. "Drake. I'm sorry. I put you through so much trouble. I know I changed towards the end, but I still caused you a lot of grief," said Issei, falling onto his back, blacking out soon after. "Drake, the poison is spreading through this person's entire body," said Afais. I know that off eyes, but this person won't die here. He always keeps getting back up. He has survived worse than this, said Drake. Drake, this person isn't moving, said off eyes. Yeah, agreed Drake. Drake, are you crying? Asked off eyes. Yeah, said Drake. Off eyes, do you want to talk about him, our friend? Asked Drake. Yes, tell me about him. Was he a good red dragon emperor? Agreed off eyes, sitting beside Issei's left hand. He was the best red dragon emperor I've ever had, said Drake. Line break. Issei sat up and found himself in an empty expanse of white, yellows and orange. It took his eyes a moment to adjust, but when they did, he focused on something that stood out of place heavily. Haha, I can't believe that even after all this time, you still weren't able to move past me. It's kind of sad really, but I guess even I'm a little flattered that I had that much of an impact on you, said Rainare. You? What are you doing here? Asked Issei, quickly getting to his feet. Come on, Issei. I know you aren't the smartest guy around, but even you can figure out what you seeing me here means, said Rainare. I'm dead, said Issei, sitting back down. Dying, actually, but yeah, you'll be dead soon, agreed Rainare, walking over to Issei. Well go on then, get it over with, said Issei, with a wave of his hand. Get what over with? Asked Rainare. What? You mean you aren't here to taunt me before I die? Retorted Issei. Now why would I do that? Asked Rainare teasingly, squatting down to Issei's height. Well, I did get you killed, said Issei. Yeah, but that red-haired bitch was the one who did it, not you, Issei, said Rainare, switching her voice to her more innocent one towards the end. What do you want then? Asked Issei tiredly. I just wanted to see you, after all, I've spent all this time in your mind, so I decided to do you a little favor, since you can't seem to forget about me, said Rainare, with a smirk. What? What do you mean? Asked Issei. Well, fallen angels are beings of sin, not evil, but sin. If there is someone near us at the time of our death, who has enough of a connection with us, well, there is a little trick we can pull to live on, confessed Rainare in glee, enjoying Issei's shocked expression. So you mean, all this time? Stammered Issei. That's right, I've been right here, said Rainare, poking Issei's forehead with her index finger. I hate you, said Issei bitterly. You can say that all you want, we both know the truth, teased Rainare. Did you even care, when you killed me? Asked Issei. A little bit, actually. Not enough to stop me from doing it of course, but I did enjoy the time we spent together, admitted Rainare. I really loved you, you know, whispered Issei. I know, said Rainare, shifting so she was sitting in front of Issei on her knees. Even now. I still love you, said Issei. I know, said Rainare again. Issei didn't say anything after that, keeping his gaze on his lap, while Rainare knelt in front of him. Hey, Issei, will you do something for me? Asked Rainare. What? Asked Issei, lifting his gaze to meet Rainare's. Will you die for me? Asked Rainare. Always, said Issei, before Rainare kissed him. Talking. Thinking. Drake talking and sacred gear sounds. Drake thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 20, Jaws of Life. Issei had no awareness of anything currently. After his conversation with the real Rainare, his mind had gone blank and he had lost any sense of where he was. He didn't know if he was standing, or lying down. He didn't know if he was alive or dead. Issei knew realistically that he was alive in some capacity, but the fact that he couldn't even move didn't help assuage his worries. A soft wail started to make itself heard and Issei became aware of sound, quickly followed by light, as he located the wail to be coming from a small ball of light. Issei's sense of proprioception kicked in after that, as he felt his body being pulled towards the light. A startled yelp escaped Issei's mouth, allowing him to realize he could speak, followed by an intense heat washing over him. The heat didn't burn Issei though, no, it seemed to be wrapping around him and comforting him. It was very soothing, Issei thought, even as he was pulled through the air. As Issei reached the light, everything changed. A strong pain lanced through his chest and his eyes opened in agony, before he coughed up a steady stream of blood. Issei! Exclaimed Irina, causing Issei to whip his head around in the direction of the sound. In the space of a moment, Issei picked up on the relieved expressions of Murayama, Zenobia, and Irina, the happy expression of Gabriel and the curious expression of Michael. Curious? Issei switched his gaze back to the leader of the angels and noticed he indeed seemed to be scrutinizing something, but it wasn't Issei. Issei, are you okay? Asked Murayama, bringing Issei's attention back to the angels he himself had reincarnated. A little sore, but nothing I can't handle, said Issei, giving a small grin. His words and expressions were not as effective as he would have hoped, as blood was still trickling out of his mouth. You're bleeding and injured, said Zenobia bluntly. Yeah. I've been worse though. Besides, things could have turned out a lot more differently if certain events didn't occur, said Issei vaguely. You should allow us to heal you first though, said Gabriel. I'm fine, really. Samael's poison is almost completely out of my system, said Issei, causing the two archangels to look at him in shock. Samael's poison? How are you even alive, Issei? Questioned Michael in disbelief. Well, it was pretty close, but I had a bit of help, said Issei. What happened to Offeyes? Interjected Irina. Oh, Offeyes should be fine. In fact, considering we ended up in the dimensional gap, I'm sure she feels right at home, said Issei, before remembering something. Offeyes, you say? Questioned Michael. Yeah. I can explain though, said Issei. Does that mean you can also explain that? Asked Michael, pointing to Issei's lap. Issei's eyebrows narrowed in confusion, before realizing there was a weight on his legs. Looking down to see exactly what Michael was pointing at, Issei's eyes widened in shock. There on his lap, was the form of the creature that had been haunting him for weeks now. Threadbare leather attire along with pale skin, which was partially covered by long dark hair, made up the form of Issei's first girlfriend in her true form. However, Issei paused for a moment in thought. Michael had pointed at Rainare, meaning he could see her. This led Issei to two conclusions. The first, that Michael had suddenly gained the ability to see an apparition of his mind. That idea was quite a stretch, but it was more likely that Issei's other hypothesis. That somehow, someway, Rainare was alive once again. Actually, was she even alive? Issei prodded the form on his lap and realized with some surprise that he could in fact touch the person currently resting on him. Rainare, what is going on? Thought Issei, expecting a response from his shadow. When the body on top of him groaned, Issei thought everything was normal and that his first hypothesis was correct, but he was in for a surprise. The fallen angel stirred, before pushing herself up from Issei's lap. Two violet eyes locked with Issei's brown, causing him to involuntarily smile slightly, but that quickly faded, as he saw no traces of recognition in those captivating dark orbs. Who are you? Asked Rainare groggily, still rousing herself from her nap. What do you mean? It's me, Issei, said Issei in confusion, causing Rainare to look at him funnily. I have no idea who you are, but you better tell me what is going on, said Rainare, finally sobering up. Issei felt as though a small blade had been rammed into his chest. No, scratch that. Issei felt as though he had just taken another arrow imbued with Samael's blood. Well, fallen angel Rainare, we are not sure ourselves, but we will find out. Gabriel, please contact Azazel, we will most certainly need him to weigh in on things and help us get to the bottom of this, said Michael, causing Rainare to whip her gaze to him in shock, quickly swiveling her head to see the other seraph present, before looking back to the current leader of heaven. Of course, said Gabriel, before leaving the group. Azazel? Why would he listen to you? Questioned Rainare hotly. Well, it seems you have either forgotten, or never learnt of the fact, that the devils, angels, and the fallen angels have reached an agreement for peace, not simply the ceasefire we had previously, explained Michael patiently, despite Rainare's skeptical look and untrusting body language. Rainare finally took notice of her position and pushed herself off Issei and took a few steps away from the group, looking at him with untrusting eyes. I'm not believing a word you say until I hear this from Lord Azazel himself, said Rainare, crossing her arms over her chest. The next few minutes passed by very slowly for Issei. He was vaguely aware of Michael healing his surface wounds, his body slowly but steadily working away on removing the rest of Samael's curse from his being. Throughout all of this though, Issei couldn't tear his gaze away from Rainare. Why can't she remember anything? What happened? asked Issei in desperation. Michael, what's this I hear from Gabriel about a fallen angel being in heaven, on the 6th level no less? Asked Azazel, appearing in a small holographic form, held in the palm of Gabriel's right hand, as she rejoined the group. Lord Azazel! Exclaimed Rainier, recognizing the voice and form of her idol. I see, this is quite interesting. I would like to investigate this more deeply, but in the meantime, how is Issei? Asked Azazel, confusing Rainier at her leader's interest in the strange boy she had woken up on. I'm fine. So is Afaiz. Shulba's dead too. What happened in the underworld? Asked Issei. That's good to hear. Not to worry about those things, Vala took care of the largest one with Juggernaut Drive and the rest were mopped up by the others. It is strange though. Considering the state the underworld was in, it was the perfect chance to strike, but Cow's brigade didn't make a move. Answered Azazel, before elaborating on what had occurred, or rather, what hadn't. In any case, you should all return to the human world now, we can discuss more then. Sertsks and I just finished dealing with Hades, so he won't be a problem for a while now. Said Azazel, before his projection faded away. Well, it seems there is quite a bit of information we are lacking currently. Gabriel, please watch over things for now, I believe I will return to Earth and speak with Azazel and Sertsks. Said Michael, getting a nod from Gabriel. The rest of you should come as well, that includes you, fallen angel Rainier. Said Michael, looking over the group. Issei, how are you feeling? Asked Murayama. I'm fine, really. Just need a day or two to rest and I'll be back to normal. Said Issei, with another grin. Murayama spared a glance for the fallen angel a little bit away from them, before looking back to Issei and noticing his grin didn't reach his eyes. If you say so. Mumbled Murayama. Well then, let us depart at once. Said Michael, before the group made their way to the entrance of heaven. Line break. Azazel, are you sure it was wise to hold the meeting here? Asked Sertsks. Why not? I'm sure that with all that has happened, coming back to this place won't be any trouble at all. Said Azazel. The two leaders were sitting in Issei's apartment living room currently. To Sertsks' left, was the peerage of his little sister, herself included, along with Ravel. To Azazel's right, was Vala's team, including Baikau and Arthur, who had been elsewhere during the battle with Cao. A gate of pristine white appeared in the living room, after which, Michael, Issei, Irina, Zenovia and Murayama emerged. Moments before the gate closed, Rainier exited as well. You! Growled Rias, her magic flaring to life around her, as she spotted, who she blamed, for Issei's desertion. Now Rias, calm down. We have to get to the bottom of this matter first. Said Azazel jovially, hoping to release the tension that had been injected into the room. Lady! Rainier! Gasped Asia, before taking a step back in shock, hiding herself somewhat behind Rias. Greetings Azazel, Sertsks, I trust we are secure meeting here. Asked Michael. Indeed, Vali and his team here added a few fortifications over the household and have some interesting news to report as well. Said Azazel, motioning for Vala to speak. The hero faction has declared a month of ceasefire between our groups. We were able to secure this by returning one of their own, the boy Leonardo, whose sacred gear was used to create those monsters we dealt with. Said Vala. Well, that is some good news I suppose. Commented Sertsks. Shulba's dead too, so the old Satan faction is pretty much finished. Added Issei. I see, and what of Afaiz? Asked Azazel, only for a black void to appear in the living room. Speak of the devil, or in this case dragon I suppose. Laughed Azazel, as the tiny form of Afaiz emerged in the living room. Her gaze passively swiveled around the group, before landing on Issei. You left without me? Said Afaiz, her unblinking gaze boring into Issei's. Sorry about that Afaiz, but it was more like I was taken. I couldn't really leave myself. Said Issei, scratching his head in embarrassment. Great Red and I fixed you. Said Afaiz, confusing the group, but none more so than Issei. What do you mean? Asked Issei. Partner, while Samael's curse didn't kill you, it ate away at almost half of your body. It was pure chance that Great Red had been floating by and you landed on him. Afaiz then used some of his flesh and imbued it with her own power, to regenerate the parts of your body that disintegrated. You lost both legs, your right arm and a small piece of your torso. Luckily, your head and vital organs weren't damaged, or you would have needed an entirely new body. Even now your body is still adapting to the changes and finding a middle ground. At this point you are half angel half dragon. Explained Drake, much to Issei's shock, appearing as a glowing green gem on Issei's left hand. You mean I almost died? Questioned Issei in shock, sparing a glance for the fallen angel off to the side. Yes, you were lucky for the warning you got. Said Drake vaguely, confusing the others, but not Issei. Well, looks like you have the luck of the devil, even if you aren't one anymore. Joked Azazel. That does seem to be the case, but there is another matter we need to address. Said Sertx, his gaze locking on to Rainare, who took a step back in nervousness. Indeed we do. Agreed Michael, his gaze also shifting to the female fallen angel's form. Well then, fallen angel Rainare, would you care to share the last thing you remember? Asked Michael. Well, Lord Azazel had just given me an assignment to watch a potential sacred gear user, that's the last thing I can remember. Said Rainare, after Azazel gave her a nod to speak. I see. Do you know the identity of the person you were to watch? Asked Sertx, only for Rainare to furrow her eyebrows slightly. No, said Rainare after a moment. Yatter, that is quite the problem then. Well, to bring you up to speed, your assignment was to watch that boy over there, Issei Hyudo, the current Red Dragon Emperor of this generation. Said Azazel, causing Rainare's eyes to widen in disbelief that the boy she had woken up on moments ago, was a being capable of defeating even the faction leaders before them. Although, you have missed a great deal during your absence. Said Azazel. What happened to me? Asked Rainare. I killed you. Said Rias ominously, causing the fallen angel to recoil slightly. That's impossible, I'm standing right here. You really expect me to believe that you killed me? Scoffed Rainare, only for her to gain Rias' ire. Yes. If you'd like, I'd be happy to do it again. Said Rias. Okay. I think that's enough for now. I will take Rainare back with me and bring her up to speed. Volley, I suppose you are free to do whatever you would like, but feel free to stop by the Grigori. I'm sure after your latest heroic feat, many will not have issue with you. Said Azazel. We'll see. Said Volley noncommittally, getting a laugh from Azazel. As for all of you, the results of the mid-class promotion test have been finalized. Akeno Himejima and Yuato Kiba, congratulations, as of now, you are mid-class devils. Said Sertx, getting smiles from the Grammary group. Issei, I will also be sending you and Dulio to assess whether the actions of the vampires lately are cause for concern. Sertx, Azazel, it seems there may be another Longinus in play, specifically the Holy Grail. It is unclear currently if the vampires themselves have been the ones using it, or rather, if Chaos Brigade is using it within their territory, but this must be investigated. Said Michael. The vampires. Spoke up Gasper, gaining the attention of the three faction leaders. Yes Gasper. It would seem your old domain has undergone a period of turmoil. The Teeps faction is currently in power, however, it seems the Carmilla faction has attempted to make contact with us. They will be sending an envoy in the coming weeks. Said Sertx. I see. In that case, you and Dulio will remain on standby, Issei. Get your rest though, you have earned it. In the meantime, I will return to heaven and ensure everything is running smoothly. It would also be best for you to come by after a few days, so we can see how you have been affected by Great Red and Off-Eye's power. Said Michael, getting a nod from Issei. Very well then. That seems like a good as place as any to call this meeting to an end. Said Azazel, getting nods of agreement. Azazel left first with Rainare, seeking to diffuse the tension in the room, with Volley and his group leaving shortly after. Michael returned to heaven after that, with Sertx returning to hell, leaving the uneasy friends together, along with the dragon god of infinity. I'm glad you are okay, Issei. Said Yuato, speaking on behalf of the group. Thanks, congratulations on your promotion, Kiba, Akeno. Said Issei, getting a nod from Kiba and a smile from Akeno. We should leave now and let Issei get some rest. Said Irina, getting murmurs of agreement from the group. The devils left first, Ravel leaving last, after sparing Issei one last look, leaving the angels by themselves. Issei, if you need anything we'll be downstairs. When you are ready to return back to your house, let us know. Said Irina. Zenovia nodded in agreement, before the two headed downstairs. Issei, are you sure you are okay with what happened? Asked Murayama, resting her hand on Issei's shoulder. Yeah, I just need some rest, I'll be back to normal soon. Said Issei, giving another smile, which Murayama could tell was forced. Leaning up slightly to give Issei a small kiss, Murayama left soon after. Off-Eyes made no move to leave, staring up at Issei unblinkingly. What now, partner? Asked Drake. I don't know, Drake. I don't know. Said Issei, before heading to his bedroom to rest, Off-Eyes following after him. Talking. Thinking. Drake talking and sacred gear sounds. Drake thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 21, Gaze. When Issei awoke, he found Off-Eyes sitting on the bed beside him. Sitting up tiredly and giving a yawn, as he rubbed his eyes, Issei fixed his gaze on the diminutive dragon. What are you doing, Off-Eyes? Asked Issei. Watching you. Replied Off-Eyes bluntly, causing Issei to raise an eyebrow in confusion. Why? Asked Issei after a moment. You are acting different. Said Off-Eyes, tilting her head slightly. You mean because I'm part dragon now? Inquired Issei, only for the small girl to shake her head. You look sad. Said Off-Eyes, after taking a moment to find the right word. Issei didn't respond to Off-Eyes' observation, instead getting out of bed and heading to the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, Issei couldn't deny what Off-Eyes had said, he looked pitiful. What Issei was unsure of though, was it due to Samael's curse, or had something else caused the change? Issei touched the mirror for a moment, remembering how he had needed it replaced after he broke it. The cool glass sent a shiver down Issei's spine, before he headed back to his bedroom and grabbed a towel. Cranking the hot water in his shower on, Issei waited for it to reach a temperature, which most would have found to be unbearable for more than a moment. After disrobing and stepping in, Issei let the water run down his back, his mind roaming around recent events. Drake, you awake? Thought Issei, after a minute. Barely. Answered the dragon. Is the poison still affecting you? Asked Issei curiously. No, it is all gone now, only a lingering fatigue remains, both mental and physical, for both of us. Said Drake. Issei nodded at this, also understanding Drake's underlying message. Issei was still not fully healed, in more ways than one. Exiting the shower after half an hour, Issei noticed Off-Eyes still on his bed, waiting patiently. Are you hungry? Asked Issei, only for Off-Eyes to shake her head. I have no need for food. Said Off-Eyes, getting a nod from Issei. Come on, I'll see if I can find you something interesting to try. Said Issei. Off-Eyes followed after Issei, as he made his way to the kitchen, before rummaging through his pantry. Eventually, Issei pulled out a block of chocolate and opened it, giving a piece to the diminutive girl and placing the rest on the table, as he went to the stove to boil some water for tea. Looking back, the block of chocolate was gone, with no trace in sight. What was that? Asked Off-Eyes. Chocolate. Said Issei, causing Off-Eyes to blink at the foreign word. I want more. Said Off-Eyes. Issei cracked a smile for the first time that day, before grabbing another family-sized block of chocolate out of the pantry and giving it to Off-Eyes. So you like chocolate, that's pretty funny actually. Observed Issei, as the small girl devoured the chocolate, with an apathetic expression. Why? Inquired Off-Eyes, as she finished her second block. Almost everyone likes chocolate. Guess you aren't that different compared to the rest of us after all. Said Issei, with a smile. Off-Eyes took this piece of information in and thought nothing of it. She briefly entertained the notion of using Cow's Brigade to secure all the chocolate in the world for herself, but then recalled their recent betrayal. I want more. Said Off-Eyes. Well, I can pick some more up from the store after school. Oh, I forgot about school. Exclaimed Issei, as he rushed to his bedroom, dressing himself in under a minute, before rushing back out. I'll see you when I get back, Off-Eyes. Yelled Issei, before the door slammed behind him as he left. Off-Eyes stared at the door for a moment. That door looks like chocolate. Said Off-Eyes. Line break. Issei made it to class with a minute to spare and noticed his classmates looking at him funnily. Issei, what's the rush? Asked Motohama in confusion. What do you mean? Asked Issei. Class is in an hour. Replied Motohama. What? Exclaimed Issei, before looking around and noticing that only Motohama and two girls were there. Checking the clock at the front of the class, Issei realized he had messed up. I guess I've been a little scattered lately, admitted Issei, before sitting behind his friend, who turned around to stare at him. What's the matter, too much sex? Asked Motohama, getting the two girls in the class to look at him in disgust. I wish, no, it's just been a rough weekend, said Issei, causing Motohama to raise his glasses thoughtfully. I see. Is this also why we haven't been able to contact you this weekend? Matsuda and I were a bit worried, well, after we removed the possibility of you having sex for 48 hours straight, commented Motohama. Yeah, sorry about that, and I am interested to hear if you've been moving things along with Kiryuo, but man, I'm so tired, sighed Issei, slumping forward onto his desk, with his hands crossed, forming a pillow. Well, I would like to say things have been moving along, but we are still at kissing and some groping. I think we are both a little reluctant to make the first move, but once one of us does, it will be intense, said Motohama, before giving a slight shake of his head. So why are you so tired? Asked Motohama. Okay. Let me start with a hypothetical question. Say there was someone you loved, who did something to make you hate them. Then after that, you fell in love with them again, only for them to forget all about you over time. How are you supposed to recover, after being thrown around like a yo-yo? Asked Issei tiredly. Hypothetically? Do whatever I did the first time to get them back. It isn't that difficult, Issei, we are unrepentant perverts and badgering women is what we do. Does it get us into trouble? All the time, but eventually we succeed. Of course, Matsuda and I still have a way to go, to matching your ever-growing harem, answered Motohama. I suppose that makes sense. Okay, how about another hypothetical? Queried Issei, raising his head off the table and looking at his friend curiously. Well, we have half an hour, I'm sure we can go through a few more scenarios, acquiesced Motohama. Okay, say there was someone who tricked you, but you came to love them, but then, you found out about what they did and it was horrible. Can you ever forgive them? Asked Issei. Do they have oppai? Asked Motohama. Yup, big ones, confirmed Issei with a nod. In that case, forgive them, but only after you get to the bottom of what they did to you and get your pound of flesh first, then give them your pound of flesh, if you know what I mean, proclaimed Motohama, causing Issei to laugh. Okay, how about this one? A girl with the biggest oppai you've ever seen likes you, but she reminds you of one of your ex-girlfriends, who did something horrible to you. What do? Go, proposed Issei. That is a tough one. Let's see, does the girl have bigger oppai than your ex-girlfriend? Asked Motohama, rubbing his chin in thought. Yep, answered Issei. Then it's obvious, isn't it? If her oppai are bigger, then she is clearly a different person, said Motohama. Okay, we'll come back to that one, commented Issei, not fully on board with Motohama's answer. Fine, I'll work on it, agreed Motohama. Okay, now this time, it's your junior, your Kaoruhei, who idolizes you. Problem is, her brother was almost married to a girl you liked, but now don't like anymore, and you were kind of the one to break them up. Now, the question is, you want to try and build a closer relationship with the junior, without making either party uncomfortable, but, the Kaoruhei's family has given their blessings. What do? Go, proposed Issei. Isn't it obvious? It doesn't matter what the brother or the other girl think. She likes you and her parents are fine with it. That is a clear green light, said Motohama, pushing his glasses up a bit. Yeah, it is pretty obvious, isn't it? Thanks for that, Motohama, said Issei. So, I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say you didn't find a new online dating simulator and these hypotheticals are not exactly hypotheticals, said Motohama. Maybe, maybe not, who can say? Declared Issei nonchalantly. In any case, if you have more problems with your harem, you can always talk with us about it. True, we have yet to build our own harems, but we have been aiming to do this for years and I've already gone through many scenarios in my head, offered Motohama. Thanks, said Issei, getting a nod from Motohama, before the door of the classroom opened and Mori's students started to file in. Issei spent the next few minutes chatting with Motohama, until two members of his harem arrived. Issei, why did you leave so early today? Asked Irina. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the time and thought I was going to be late, explained Issei sheepishly, causing Irina to tilt her head to the side in confusion. Okay, are you feeling better now though? Asked Irina. Yeah, I think so. I had a nice chat with Motohama and everything seems to be okay now. Said Issei. As long as you're sure, you can always come to me if you need help, I won't ever turn away a soul in need. Declared Irina, causing Issei to grin. Thanks. Don't worry, I'll be sure to come to you first if something is weighing on my mind. Said Issei. What was the problem? Asked Zenovia bluntly, causing Issei to chuckle. Just trying to adjust to things after the weekend. A friend of mine is staying over now as well. You two know her, the short girl we were introduced to a few days ago. Said Issei, causing Zenovia and Irina's eyes to widen. Will she be okay, all alone I mean? Asked Irina. I think so. She likes chocolate too if that helps. Added Issei, before the teacher walked in, causing the chatter to die out. Well class, this is highly unorthodox, given how close we are to the end of the year, but this person has been highly recommended by one of our own staff. So, without further ado, please welcome our newest student. Said the teacher, before looking towards the door. The person behind the door took that as their signal to enter and they did so. However, when they entered the room, Issei froze. Hello, my name is Yuma Amano, please look after me. Said the woman, who Issei knew was Rainare, just in the form of her alias. Issei felt his heart stop and his blood turn to ice at this introduction. Why is she here? Azazel, bastard. Thought Issei in annoyance, zoning out the rest of the class. Line break. After class, Issei marched straight to the Occult Research Club headquarters, feeling Azazel's energy emanating from there. What the hell are you thinking? Asked Issei, upon slamming open the club doors, startling Sana and Rias, along with their queens, who had been talking with Azazel, who was sitting behind the desk. Ah, did you like my gift? Asked Azazel. Gift? Gift? Are you kidding me? Why do you think I would want something like this? Asked Issei. Don't act like you don't know. I've been around for thousands of years and I know when someone hasn't moved on. At the very least, before this year ends, you will either have come to terms with things as they are now, or, maybe, you might actually get what you really want. Said Azazel, with a piercing gaze that made Issei squirm. I'm going home. Sana, please make up some excuse or something, I need to go. Said Issei, before walking out of the room and closing the door beside him. Honestly, did you really expect him to react well with what you dropped on all of us? Asked Sana rhetorically. Besides, I'm not exactly thrilled about things either you know, did you forget what she did to Asia? How is she supposed to deal with this? Added Rias. This will be a good chance for her too. If Issei is any indication, holding in the past is quite dangerous. You should know that too, considering what it led to, otherwise the two of you would still be madly in love with each other. I did what was necessary, nothing more. Said Azazel. With all due respect, a little warning would have been appreciated. It was not exactly easy, accommodating Amano's enrollment. Said Sana, with Tsubaki nodding in agreement. Even more so given how many new students have already been added to that class. At first it was just Asia, but then Zenovia, Irina, and now the latest enrollment, in the form of your agent. It is quite difficult to manage so many odd requests for the same class. Added Tsubaki. I'm sorry, but it seems I'm talking to toys, rather than devils. You devils have full control over the school and trying to make excuses now is laughable. I understand my decision is not going to be a popular one, especially now when the wound is so fresh, but it was the right one. Said Azazel, causing silence to descend over the room. The silence was eventually broken, by the sound of Akeno's footsteps, as she made to exit the room. Akeno, where are you going? Asked Rias. To try and fix his mistake. Said Akeno, sending a small glare at Azazel, before leaving. See, old wounds are soon to be on the mend. I didn't become the leader of my faction by making stupid decisions. Said Azazel. The three remaining devils stared at Azazel uneasily, before the bell rang, signaling the start of their next class. I suggest the three of you head to class, as it would look quite poor for the three of you to be late. I might even have to give you detention. Joked Azazel. Mark my words, we are not finished here. Said Rias, before the three left. Azazel sighed, as the door closed behind them. I only hope we can actually deal with this issue soon. The longer Issei is unstable and moody, the worse our chances are of dealing with Chaos Brigade. Thought Azazel grimly. Line break. Issei sighed as he finally got home. He picked up a few blocks of chocolate on the way back for Off-Eyes, but it seems she wasn't there currently. Issei put them away in the pantry and decided to go lie down on his bed for a bit. Issei was lying there for almost half an hour and starting to doze off in the process, when he heard someone ring his doorbell. Ugh, go away, moaned Issei unhappily. There was silence for half a minute, before the doorbell was rung once again. Issei groaned again, before sitting up on the bed, deciding whether he wanted to answer the door or not. If they ring again I'll answer it, muttered Issei. When a full minute went by, Issei thought the person had left, so he made his way to the living room to go and see. Issei walked to the door and opened it, only to find Akeno standing on the other side. I was afraid you weren't going to answer, said Akeno, with a smile, causing Issei to grumble to himself. What do you want, Akeno? Asked Issei, ruffling his hair slightly in exasperation. I just wanted to come in and speak with you for a bit, said Akeno, with her usual demure smile. Issei sighed and gave a small groan, before stepping to the side and gesturing for Akeno to enter the room. Thank you, said Akeno, as she entered, before Issei closed the door behind her. Akeno sat down on the couch, with Issei leaning on the counter opposite her. So, what's up? Asked Issei. Before we get to that, wouldn't it be nice to have some tea? I'll even make it myself, offered Akeno. Sure, said Issei, going over to the stove and boiling the water, while Akeno prepared the tea leaves. Once the water boiled, Akeno set about making tea for the two of them, while Issei watched calmly. Do you enjoy making tea, Akeno? Asked Issei, as Akeno turned the cup around 3 times. Yes, it reminds me of when I was younger and my mother would do the same for me, said Akeno fondly, as she passed the tea to Issei, who took a sip. It's good, like always, said Issei, causing Akeno to smile softly. I'm glad. I was worried things might have been different today, and in some regards I'm right, but I'm glad some things never change, said Akeno, confusing Issei. What do you mean? Asked Issei in curiosity. Do you remember the way you looked at us before you left the peerage? Asked Akeno. Not really. I didn't realize I looked at all of you in any particular way, answered Issei, furrowing his brows in confusion. You looked at us with longing, but also a hint of restraint. I can't speak for the others, but I always thought the restraint was because you didn't think you could have us, because you were a new devil, or a pervert, or because of our reputations. I never really understood why. Even when we would tease you, I thought you were holding back out of some form of respect for a senior, or maybe you were just uncertain of our true feelings, said Akeno, further confusing Issei. Where are you going with this? Asked Issei. It wasn't until after you left us that I realized the truth. You were afraid of us. Afraid that we would be like Rainare. Afraid that we weren't genuine in our care of you. Afraid that we would one day betray you and reveal everything had been a facade, said Akeno softly. Why are you bringing this up now? Asked Issei in annoyance, quite uncomfortable with the conversation. I'm sure you know why, said Akeno calmly, causing Issei to stand up and walk away from the table, where Akeno was still kneeling. What do you want, Akeno? Are you still upset with what I did when I came back? Asked Issei bitterly. Of course not. You made your point clear and it was well made. We had overlooked your feelings. That is why I am here now. I won't overlook your feelings again, said Akeno, standing to her feet. You are looking at me like you were before this all happened, and I don't want that to be the case. You forgave me, whether it was the right decision or not, and I want to earn back your trust, but right now, I know I won't be able to get through to you because you fear me, again, said Akeno, advancing towards Issei. Akeno, I'm asking you nicely, please leave, said Issei, not making eye contact with the hybrid. No. Not until you can see me as Akeno again. Right now, that isn't the case and I can feel it. When you look at me, you see Rainare, don't you? Pressed Akeno. I'm warning you, Akeno, I don't want to talk about this, growled Issei. I know. That is why we aren't going to talk about this, said Akeno, before Issei felt her magic spike. Issei dived out of the way, as a bolt of lightning struck his stove and caused it to explode. What the hell are you doing, Akeno? shouted Issei. What I need to, in order to get through to you, said Akeno, before another bolt of lightning shot towards Issei. Stop it, Akeno, are you crazy? Shouted Issei, as another bolt of lightning was launched at Issei. Akeno didn't answer this time and charged up multiple attacks, causing Issei to growl. Balance breaker! Shouted Issei, as his new red armor, with gold trim, covered his form. Akeno felt the power of light coming off Issei and powered up her magical circles further, before a multitude of attacks were released. A massive explosion occurred in Issei's apartment complex, blowing out the glass of the windows. To an ordinary onlooker, they would have thought someone's appliances were short-circuiting and exploding. To anyone versed in the sensing of supernatural energies, they would think a war was going on. Back in the apartment complex, which had been thoroughly demolished, stood a panting Akeno. She was otherwise unharmed, aside from a few scratches from shrapnel, but that was about to change. Issei shot out of the dust and slammed a punch into Akeno's gut, which launched her into the wall. The busty girl quickly pushed off the wall, rolling along the ground, as Issei slammed into it and launched a wave of lightning at him, which caused him to twitch. Issei punted Akeno off the ground, high into the air, only for the hybrid to extend her wings and maneuver herself through the air. A massive bolt of lightning dropped down on Issei and stunned him momentarily, providing enough of a distraction for Akeno to tackle him and pick him up. Issei was quite startled at the use of physical force from the magic user, before she dropped him to the floor and launched another bolt of lightning. Issei growled and leapt upwards, spearing Akeno and did a full revolution, slamming her into the ground and cratering it. Akeno curled her knees up and kicked Issei off her, before launching a wave of water, which she followed up with another bolt of lightning. Issei growled and ripped through the attacks with Ascalon, which he quickly summoned, before throwing the sword at Akeno, before it could transmit the electric charge to him. Akeno leapt to the side to avoid the sword, only for Issei to shoulder tackle her and launch her into the wall. Do you feel better now? Asked Akeno, confusing Issei. Does it feel good to target a fallen angel again? Have you released all the pent-up aggression and annoyance you've been holding in? Continued Akeno. What the hell are you talking about, Akeno? Why did you do this? Asked Issei, releasing his armor, but staying on guard. Akeno pushed off the wall and walked towards Issei, stumbling only once. I'm a fallen angel, just like her, and you were looking at me, just like her. I'm glad it worked. Sighed Akeno, before collapsing forward onto Issei, who caught her. Glad what worked? Asked Issei in confusion. Yufufu, my little plan to help you move past things and get you to see me as Akeno again. While I may have needed to level your apartment, it seems to have worked. Said Akeno. Akeno, you're crazy, but thanks. Laughed Issei. Akeno gave another bout of laughter, before reaching up and kissing Issei. Issei could taste blood and only now took notice of how injured Akeno was properly. Akeno. Why did you let it go this far? You're really hurt. Said Issei, pointing out the obvious. Well, don't forget, I am a masochist. I only hope that you are a little gentler in the bedroom, but not too much. Teased Akeno, before passing out. Akeno, you really are crazy, but I wonder what that makes me for loving you. I'm going to need to move now though. Said Issei, to the sleeping beauty, as he surveyed his destroyed home. I guess it is true though, the hotter the girl, the crazier she can be, and Akeno went all the way on both scales. Sigh, I still want that nap though. Said Issei, before deciding to take Akeno with him to his room, which was surprisingly intact, before placing her on the bed beside him. Sleep well, Akeno. Said Issei, kissing the beauty on the forehead, causing her to smile slightly, before he fell asleep beside her, a soft golden glow emanating from his form. Talking. Thinking. Drake talking and sacred gear sounds. Drake thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 22, Protocol. As Issei awoke the next day, he was confused at feeling his body quite restricted. Looking to his right, he saw Akeno, still in her damaged school uniform, snuggled up against his arm, holding it tightly. While momentarily confused, Issei remembered the events before he had gone to bed, giving him some clarity on the matter. Turning to his right though, Issei was even more confused, as two gray eyes stared at him blankly. Morning off eyes, what are you doing? Asked Issei curiously, as the infinite dragon god was wrapped around his left arm. I'm not sure. I was copying her. Explained Off Eyes. Ah. commented Issei in understanding, but not knowing where to go from there. Issei, you're actually going to be late this time, yelled Irina, before barging into his room, Zenovia beside her, with both of them stopping at the sight of the two girls snuggled up to Issei. I'd say this isn't what it looks like, but even I don't know what it looks like, said Issei. Given your trashed living room and the fact that a sadist is lying in your bed with tattered clothes, either a serious fight went down here, or I've let another person beat me to the punch again, commented Zenovia. That doesn't really explain what Offeyes is doing though, commented Irina. I'm copying her, repeated Offeyes, causing Irina to nod in understanding, while Zenovia raised an eyebrow in curiosity. Wait, did you say I'm going to be late? Asked Issei, finally sobering up. Yeah, we were waiting for you downstairs, before we came to check on you and saw, well, this, explained Irina. Is it morning already? Whined Akeno, as she sat up on the bed, stretching her arms up and making her breasts bounce, involuntarily grabbing Issei's attention. Good morning, Issei, smiled Akeno, noticing his gaze, when she had finished stretching. Morning, we need to go, exclaimed Issei, shaking off his thoughts of Akeno's chest, before bouncing out of the bed, Offeyes having released Issei when Akeno did. Offeyes, what are you doing here? Asked Akeno curiously, finally noting the diminutive dragon. Copying you, said Offeyes simply, causing the hybrid to smile in amusement. I'm flattered, said Akeno, before noticing Offeyes' attention had switched to Zenovia. Zenovia and Offeyes stared at each other for a minute, while Issei got ready for school, grabbing clothes in the background. I like you, said Offeyes suddenly, causing Zenovia to hum in agreement. I like you too, agreed Zenovia, causing Akeno to quirk her lips in amusement, while Irina tilted her head in confusion. Okay, let's go, said Issei, having gotten all his things together. How mean, Issei, you're just going to leave me like this, after we slept together? Asked Akeno, feigning sadness. Very funny Akeno, we both know nothing happened, or you wouldn't still be teasing me. It doesn't really work that much anymore anyway, retorted Issei. Then I'll just have to step up my game, commented Akeno, before standing up. See you later, said Akeno, before a magic circle appeared under her and she disappeared. See you when we get back, Offeyes. I got more chocolate for you as well, it's in the, started Issei, before seeing Offeyes swallow something. I need more, it's finished, said Offeyes, causing Issei to look at her in surprise. Okay. I'll pick up some more today as well then, said Issei, giving a small shake of his head in amusement, before heading out into his living room. Wow. I really trashed this place, didn't I? Commented Issei, finally seeing the aftermath of his little discussion with Akeno. Issei, we are going to be late, pointed out Irina. Right, sorry, let's get going, said Issei, getting two nods from two angels, before the trio left for school. Line break. When the trio finally made it to class, they realized that they were in fact not late, but it was close. Going to their seats, Issei was promptly questioned by his friends on his near tardiness. You weren't just having a threesome, were you, Issei? Questioned Motohama suspiciously. What? No. Although, now that I think about it, why have I not had a threesome yet? Replied Issei, trailing off at the end, only for another person to arrive to the class, causing him to stiffen. In walked the newest transfer student, Yuma Amano, only this time, there seemed to be the barest flickers of recognition in her eyes, when she looked at Issei, before going to her assigned seat on the other side of the room. Is she remembering me? Thought Issei hopefully. Not necessarily partner, she could just have more information on who you are now, advised Drake, not wanting his host to get his hopes up. Issei sighed at this, looking down at his desk, before feeling a presence enter the room that just felt off. Looking up, Issei was surprised to see it was Asia who was giving off the strange presence. Studying her for a moment, Issei noticed a lot of little things were off with the former holy maiden. Her hair was slightly more disheveled, her eyes looked puffier and her shoulders were sagging slightly. It was as close to a kicked puppy in human form that Issei had ever seen. Confusingly, Issei had no idea why Asia would be acting like this. Even after he came back, she had been sad, sure, but not what she was now. Depressed. Yes, as far as Issei could tell, Asia was depressed, and as she made her way to her desk and seemed to fall into her seat, Issei nodded to himself slightly. "What do you think is wrong with Asia?" mumbled Motohama, also noticing the change in the usually cheerful blonde. "No idea," supplied Issei unhelpfully, before the teacher walked in and started the class. Line break. It was as class ended for the day, that Issei set out to find Ravel, remembering he had a bit of business to attend to with her family, before deciding to kill 3 birds at once and do his last little test, before heading to heaven, to get a few tests of his own performed. "Ravel, there you are!" exclaimed Issei, startling his junior, as he jogged up to her, just outside the school grounds. "Issei, what is it?" asked Ravel, somewhat alarmed. "Nothing terrible or anything, I just wanted to know if you could take me to see your family. I didn't really get the chance to earlier, what with CAO showing up and almost dying, whoops," said Issei quickly, forgetting that while Ravel had been told of his near death, being reminded of it was sure to make her emotional, as evidenced by her eyes watering and her downturned lip. "Sorry Ravel, didn't mean to remind you about that," apologized Issei, only for Ravel to hug him, tightly wrapping her arms around his back and burying her head into his chest, her hair brushing against his chin. Issei was surprised at Ravel's actions. The always prim and proper high-class devil was hugging him in public unabashedly. Unsure of what to do, Issei settled for hugging Ravel back, rubbing her back gently, as she shook into his form slightly. This lasted for about a minute, before Ravel broke the hug, but kept her head against Issei's chest, bringing her hands up to wipe her eyes, before clearing her throat with a huff and pushing herself away from Issei, crossing her arms under her chest. "Humph, of course I can take you, what do you take me for?" said Ravel, causing Issei to laugh. "Great, then we can go as soon as you're ready," said Issei. "Very well then, we can go find somewhere private then depart at once," said Ravel. "Okay, let's go back to my place then," said Issei, causing the small blonde to blush at the insinuation her mind formed. "Oh wait, I almost forgot, I need to pick up more chocolate for Offis," said Issei, causing Ravel's mind to short-circuit temporarily. "Why do you need to buy Offis chocolate? For that matter, why is Offis eating chocolate and how are you getting it to her?" asked Ravel in confusion. "Well, since we're friends, she hasn't left my apartment. As for the chocolate, I gave her some to try and she really liked it," explained Issei. Ravel nodded at this, before pausing and tilting her head in confusion. "Wait, the first thing you offered Offis was chocolate?" asked Ravel. Yeah, why?" asked Issei. "Issei. Shame on you. As your manager, I can't have you improperly entertaining your guests. There is a certain standard one must show when offering guests nourishment," lectured Ravel. "There is," mumbled Issei in confusion, only for Ravel to laugh to herself and puff out her chest. "Leave it to me, I will take care of everything. Onwards now, we have supplies to get," said Ravel haughtily, causing Issei to sweat drop. "I've heard of tsundere and bipolar attitudes before. I just never thought I'd see them combined," thought Issei in surprise, as his cute, recently appointed manager, made a habit of switching moods, more often than he switched between his favorite magazines on the weekend in the past. Line break. "What is this?" asked Offis, looking at the spread in front of her in curiosity, tilting her head to the side. "Well, Lady Offis, I saw to it that you received a balanced representation of food and how it can be served. Of course, it was no trouble at all preparing all this food," stated Ravel pridefully. Laid out in front of Offis, on Issei's living room table, were multiple different types of fish, soup, meats, fruits, vegetables, and pastries. "I want chocolate," stated Offis plainly. But I went to all this effort for you," exclaimed Ravel, trying to hide her disappointment. "Offis, you should at least try the food Ravel made. She worked very hard for your sake, wanting you to have a good experience," explained Issei. "Why?" asked Offis, tilting her gaze back to the blonde. What do you mean why? It is only right that I help ensure Issei's guests are taken care of properly. It wouldn't do for others to think less of him," explained Ravel. "So why did you help? Why not the others?" asked Offis. I just happened to be heading here anyway and decided to help," answered Ravel. "Others came here before, none of them made me food," stated Offis, causing Ravel to squirm. "Well, That was rude of them. It is only proper to treat guests with respect. Stammered Ravel. You are speaking funny, but I like you. Said Offeyes, much to Ravel's confusion, causing Issei to laugh. What's so funny? Asked Ravel hotly. I don't think Offeyes understands its under a personality very well, but she likes you anyway. Chuckled Issei. How rude, I am no tsundere. You are just lucky I won't hold this slight against you and will still help you travel to meet my family. Huffed Ravel, with a prominent blush. Can I have the chocolate now? Asked Offeyes. Yeah? You finished it all that quickly? Asked Ravel in shock, whirling around to see no food, or even scraps left behind. I liked it. I like chocolate more though. Said Offeyes, causing Issei to laugh, before throwing Offeyes a family-sized block of chocolate, which she deftly caught in her petite hands, before tearing the top off. Issei watched intently, waiting to see Offeyes eat the chocolate, realizing he had yet to see it happen. Well then, Issei, shall we get going? Asked Ravel, momentarily grabbing Issei's attention. Huh? Oh yeah sure, let's go. Said Issei, before looking back to Offeyes only to see the entire bar gone in a crumpled wrapper on the table. Damn, maybe next time. Thought Issei. Okay Ravel, let's get going. Said Issei, walking over to Ravel. The two prepared to leave, the magic circle quickly appearing under their feet. Just before they disappeared though, Offeyes spoke. By Firebird. Said Offeyes. Firebird. Stuttered Ravel in confusion as they arrived, only for Issei to chuckle in amusement. I guess Offeyes really does like you. Explained Issei, much to Ravel's confusion. Whatever makes you think that? Asked Ravel. Well, aside from me, you're the only one she has given a nickname to. Said Issei. Huff, it isn't like I'm happy to hear that or anything special. Said Ravel unconvincingly, as Issei could see her blush slightly. Well, should we get going now then? Asked Issei, causing Ravel to snap back into action. Of course, follow me. Said Ravel, leading Issei through the halls of her home, having teleported directly into her room. Surprisingly, it seemed Ravel's parents were expecting Issei, as Ravel found them sitting together, in the same room Issei had spoken with her mother before. Father, mother, I have brought Issei to speak with the two of you. Announced Ravel. Ah, what a nice surprise, we were just discussing you. Commented Ravel's mother. Ravel, would it be okay with you if you wait outside for a moment? I want to speak with your parents alone for a bit, but would then like you here as well for what I say afterwards. Would that be okay? Asked Issei. Of course. I will be waiting. Said Ravel, walking out of the room and closing the door behind her. Well then, what is it that you would like to say to us that you don't want Ravel to hear? Asked Ravel's father. It is not that I don't want her to hear anything in particular, I just don't want her to worry about me unnecessarily, as it may change her mind on what I say after. Explained Issei, before moving into the room and sitting on a couch opposite the two. I see. What would you like to speak about then? Asked Ravel's mother. Just how much do I have to worry about the devils? How many people are after me, or even bitter at what I've done? Asked Issei. You refer to your recent conversion, correct? Asked Ravel's father, getting a nod from Issei. In truth, far less than you would expect. True, there was a great deal of unrest with your return, but given the alliance and your lack of any threatening actions towards devils, some of the people relaxed. That being said, your display against Sarayorg also quieted down many that were thinking of taking direct action against you. Your power is quite truly fearsome. Continued Ravel's father, before pausing. But you haven't said I'm in the clear. Pointed out Issei. That is correct. There are still a few who are quite unhappy with the loss of the Red Dragon. If anything, we should be angry too, given what happened between you and Rias and given what happened between Riser and Rias in the past. However, as I've stated before, we hold no ill will towards you. Said Ravel's mother, with her partner nodding in agreement. I see, so it is mostly politics that I have to worry about then, no actual threats of violence or subterfuge. Queried Issei, getting a nod from the two. Okay, that is all I needed to clear up, I'll go get Ravel now. Said Issei, before standing up and retrieving his manager. Ravel sat down on the couch beside Issei at his insistence, causing her to squirm momentarily, before regaining her usual regal posture. I have a request of the three of you. Started Issei. A request? Asked Ravel's father, narrowing his eyes slightly. Well, more a proposition. You see, recently, Ravel has unofficially adopted the role of my manager, helping me deal with my finances and helping set up my match with Issei. I would like to ask for Ravel to not only officially become my manager, but to also be, how to put this, my representative among the devils. Said Issei. You mean as an ambassador of sorts? Questioned Ravel's mother. Yeah, that's right, my ambassador. Agreed Issei. Well, that is up to Ravel. Commented Ravel's mother. I would be honored to. Said Ravel, causing her parents to smile at her earnest nature, with Issei smiling at how helpful Ravel was always trying to be. I know I am asking for a lot, but there is more, something that is hopefully good for both of us. Continued Issei. I would like to have a marriage contract with Ravel. Said Issei, causing Ravel to look at him in shock, face steadily turning red, while her parents looked at him in amusement. The irony here is ridiculous that I can't help but laugh at it. Commented Ravel's father. I'd only have one request. Said Issei, getting everyone to refocus given how serious he had become. What I am about to tell you is a great secret of heaven, and if other devils were to find out about it, there would be a massive uproar, especially with those people who don't like me. Said Issei slowly, before reaching into his pocket and withdrawing a blank card. This card here is an angel form of your peerage system. I have already used it to turn a human and a former reincarnated devil into angels. These angels, like me, are incapable of falling. I would like to use this card on Ravel if she would be willing. Said Issei, causing a heavy tension to fall over the room. So you will only take Ravel if she becomes an angel? That is quite the cruel request. Commented Ravel's mother bitterly, causing Ravel to look down slightly. What the heck? No. I care for Ravel more than that. I would still want the marriage contract even if she didn't accept the card, since becoming my ambassador would put her in danger, and this way there is less chance of anyone trying something stupid with her, knowing I'm engaged to her. No, the card is an extra, but I will admit, even I don't know what will happen. That is why it is up to Ravel. Explained Issei, sounding slightly offended initially, before calming himself down. Ravel's face heated up at this, her heart warming at the thought of Issei becoming her husband and also vowing to protect her, indirect as it was. Ravel's parents shared a long look at this. True, they had much to gain, since not only would the Red Dragon be directly affiliated with them, but in the future, should he and Ravel conceive, they would have a child hybrid of two polar opposites and a dragon. True, pure bloods were highly valued, but the offspring of a devil, angel, and dragon would surely be something fierce, perhaps groundbreaking. Very well then, those terms are aggregable, however, this final decision lies in Ravel's hands. Said Ravel's mother. What do you mean, mother? Questioned Ravel in shock. In devil society, it was always the parents or head of the family who decided on contracts and agreements between other families. Case in point, Riser and Rias' engagement was something agreed upon by both Lord Gremory and Lord Phoenix before their children were even born. To ask for Ravel to decide upon the agreement of a contract was both ludicrous and humbling. Ravel had never made a decision for herself in her life. When Riser asked for Ravel to be traded from her mother's peerage, he had asked their mother, not her. Her mother had agreed and Ravel had been transferred, her input was irrelevant. Even her recent move to Kuahan enrollment, although aligned with her wishes, was something her mother had decided without her input. To now, be asked to basically determine her life, was shocking to the young devil, who up to this point, had only dutifully obeyed what she was told. Well, Ravel, it's up to you. Said Issei, giving her a kind smile. Ravel relaxed slightly at this, looking in the eyes of her idol. Issei wasn't forcing her to decide one way or the other, he only wanted her honest opinion. In truth, Issei had been the most honest person with her in her entire life. Even when he beat down Riser, he made no smart remarks or threats. He simply told her if she had a complaint with him, to come to him directly and that he would face her any time. In their subsequent meetings, he never held those events against her and even promised to look after her, both before and after the incident that changed Issei forever occurred. I would be honored to. After all, who else would be able to look after your affairs the way I am capable of? You would be lost without me after all. Said Ravel, causing Issei to laugh. That's great. I think Tsundere personality types are pretty cute too, you know. Teased Issei, causing Ravel to blush. How rude. To reduce one such as I to a harem personality trope. Huffed Ravel, much to Issei's amusement. So how will this angel converting process be carried out? Asked Ravel's father, causing both of the high school students to refocus on him. Well, I can do it right now, here in front of you. I will have nothing to hide from all of you, given Ravel's agreement. In the same way that Ravel will be helping me, it goes without saying that if you need my help I will be there. I don't mean doing your dirty work though. If anything happens to your family though, I'll be there to protect them or get them back. Said Issei firmly, making sure they understood that he was their ally, but also their equal. Of course, it goes without saying that this is an agreement of mutual benefits to both parties. Said Lord Phoenix, getting a nod from Issei. In that case, I will do it now. Are you ready, Ravel? Asked Issei. Why yes. Replied Ravel, bracing herself for what was to come. Issei manifested his gauntlet and placed the card on his gauntlet, before placing his hand on Ravel's head and giving it a small ruffle, causing her to pout slightly. Angel transfer? Echoed the boosted gear. Ravel felt very funny for a moment, as though someone was pouring cold water into boiling water and she was in the middle of it, before it seemed to balance out. How do you feel, Ravel? Asked Issei curiously. Odd, but I don't feel that different. Commented Ravel. Can you materialize your wings? Asked Issei. Ravel concentrated for a moment, before something popped out of her back, something which confused and surprised everyone gathered. That's new. Commented Issei. You mean this isn't what happened when you tried this before? Asked Lord Phoenix, with a hint of worry in his tone. No, they just got wings similar to mine. Said Issei, materializing his wings for effect, before withdrawing them. What is it? Is something wrong? Asked Ravel in worry. No, nothing is wrong, different though, yeah, something is different. Can you try and use some magic? Requested Issei. Ravel nodded nervously, before forming a ball of fire in her hand. Ravel's parents nodded at this, while Issei's eyes widened, causing Ravel to look at him in worry. What's wrong? Asked Ravel quickly, causing her parents to take note of Issei's expression and also become nervous. That's the same power I put into my holy nova. Fire and holy magic mixed together in perfect balance. The light isn't hurting you either, is it? Asked Issei curiously. And no, why should it? Asked Ravel in confusion. Because even though you took the angel card, you still have the unmistakable feel of a devil. It is like the two combined in you. A devil and an angel with the power of both. Not to mention the power you have over fire as a phoenix. That might explain your wings, I guess. Said Issei, causing Ravel to look back at her wings. Whereas before she had wings of pure fire, now she had the wings of an angel, only not. The wings themselves were not only red, but the feathers themselves were on fire somehow, yet not burning away and not harming Ravel. It is like you've become a fiery angel from hell. I don't know how to describe it. Muttered Issei in awe. I think it would be best if we go see Michael and have him investigate this personally. Said Issei after a moment, causing Ravel to dismiss her wings. Are you sure it is okay for a devil to go to heaven? Asked Ravel. Well, I mean, you are kind of an angel now as well, besides, no one would try anything with you, knowing I brought you there. You'll be safe with me. Said Issei. If that is the case, we won't object, but we would like to know the results of this investigation. Commented Ravel's father, getting a nod from Issei. Of course. I'll be sure to fill you in once we have answers. We should go now. Said Issei, to which Ravel nodded. Issei brought out his wings again and summoned his halo, before the gateway to heaven opened in front of him. That was a lot more tiring than usual, must be harder to open the gateway down here. Muttered Issei, before motioning for Ravel to follow him, before the two stepped through the gates. Well, I suppose we won in the end after all. Commented Lord Phoenix. I agree. While a marriage between us and the Grammary would have been beneficial, we now have one of our own among heaven's ranks, not to mention the upcoming union of Ravel and the Red Dragon. Agreed Lady Phoenix. I suppose we truly do have the devil's luck. Laughed Lord Phoenix. In the meantime, we should prepare the contract. I believe a year or two after Ravel is finished with her studies would be the best time to have the wedding. Stated Lady Phoenix. That seems reasonable, however, if they wish to move sooner I would have no objection either. Added Lord Phoenix. Agreed. Well then, let us go inform the household," said Lady Phoenix, before the two left to spread word. Talking. Thinking. Drake talking and sacred gear sounds. Drake thinking. Expression. Flashback. Chapter 23, Aspirations. As Issei and Ravel exited the gateway to heaven, Ravel was quickly stunned at the presence of the place. A few nearby angels spotted Issei and smiled, before noticing Ravel as well, a well-known devil, confusing them. This was compounded by the fact that they felt as though Ravel was both one of them and their direct opposite at the same time. "It's really something, isn't it?" said Issei after a few moments, snapping Ravel out of her awe-induced daze. "Well, it isn't that special," muttered Ravel, but her words were clearly more subdued than usual. "Come on, we should go and see if Michael or Gabriel are around. After that, I'm sure we'll head to the lab to see how your body is adapting to things." With that, Issei started to lead Ravel through heaven, deliberately walking slower than usual, in order to give Ravel enough time to absorb the majesty of the place she likely would have never seen in her life, if it wasn't for Issei himself. Despite walking slower, it didn't take long for the pair to reach the elevator which would take them directly to the 6th floor. Exiting onto the 6th floor, both Gabriel and Michael were present, seeming to be in discussion about something. "Issei, have you come to assess the changes your body has undergone since being imbued with Great Red and Issei's power?" asked Michael. "Well, that wasn't my original reason for coming here, but I might as well," said Issei, before gesturing for Ravel to stand in front of him, as opposed to standing slightly behind as she had been. "My main reason for coming here is Ravel," explained Issei, causing the two seraphs to take notice of the girl, which was quickly followed by an expression of confusion. "Issei, I don't suppose you would be willing to explain why Ravel here contains the aura of both a devil and an angel?" asked Michael. "I'd be willing if I knew why exactly, but all I can say at this stage is that I used my third card and it had interesting results," explained Issei. Michael nodded before both he and Gabriel stood. "In that case, I believe we should go down to the 5th floor and try to get to the bottom of this," said Michael, getting a nod from his fellow seraph. "I will accompany you too. I would like to discuss some things with Issei along the way," said Gabriel, getting a nod from Michael and Issei. "Let us depart then," said Michael, with the two seraphs joining the two reincarnated angels and making their way back to the lift, which quickly took them down a level. As the group exited the lift, Michael started to strike up a conversation with Ravel, allowing Gabriel and Issei to trail behind them, walking at a slower pace. "Issei, how are you managing the recent changes in your life?" asked Gabriel. "Well, if you'd asked me a few days ago I'd say terribly, but now, I'm okay. It took some help, but I'm not about to let all my progress disappear," admitted Issei. "I'm glad to hear that. If you don't mind my asking, are you still seeing apparitions?" asked Gabriel. "No. Nothing at all, not even a word. It seems whatever it was, her soul. I think it was Rainere's soul," started Issei, before getting lost in thought. "Well, I have of course heard of the many methods fallen angels have developed to survive. I never once believed they could manifest into apparitions," said Gabriel, getting Issei to snap back to the present. "She said it was because I had strong feelings for her and couldn't let her go," supplied Issei. "That does seem to be the case. Fallen angels are able to harness sin to empower themselves, a perversion on what they once were. To have been brought back to life in such a short time though, it is nothing short of remarkable. There are many factors which no doubt contributed to the outcome, chiefly your own power and I'm afraid even your own desire for Rainere, which allowed her to manifest. I believe your heightened distress with almost dying, in addition to our Trinity recall, also had an effect. Perhaps even the power of Issei and Great Red contributed as well. I cannot say if any or all of these factors led to the outcome, but it seems like a combination of them managed to pull off the impossible," explained Gabriel. Issei took a moment to mull this over. Gabriel waited to allow him time to collect his thoughts, only to find he was now looking at her expectantly. "Is something the matter, Issei?" asked Gabriel. "Why did she lose her memory?" asked Issei. "I'm afraid I don't have an answer for that," said Gabriel, causing Issei to nod impassively. Issei had been expecting that answer, but decided to ask and hope for the best regardless. "If you don't mind me asking, what were you and Michael discussing before we arrived? It looked serious. Have you received new intel about the vampires?" asked Issei. No, we are still waiting on that front. The envoy of the vampires should be arriving at your parents' household the day after tomorrow. It is much sooner than we had been expecting, which leads us to believe something has changed quite recently with the situation over there. Given Cow's brigade has currently promised a ceasefire, it makes us believe there is another party moving things behind the scenes. Explained Gabriel. I see, so what were you discussing then? Asked Issei. Gabriel seemed to think her response over for a minute, before replying. It seems one of our most devout followers is losing their faith. Understandably, with the information that came out during the alliance of the three factions, faith was one of the things which we lost amongst many believers, but this person didn't waver. The fact that something has led them to lose faith currently and turn on our teachings is alarming. Faith is what keeps us strong, and if the strongest among us lose faith, it bodes ill for us all. Explained Gabriel. Issei frowned at the deliberate vagueness Gabriel had employed in her reply, having come to know when Gabriel, on rare occasions, didn't want a topic of conversation pursued. To this, Issei simply nodded and turned his gaze forward, noting that they had reached the lab. The best way to describe the lab would be by taking an image out of Issei's favorite manga Drag So Ball. The lab looked like the inside of Dell's ship, with large pods connecting to multiple tubes, which all ran to an extremely large computer system. If there was one thing that looked like it didn't belong in heaven, a place of purity and simple features, it was the lab, which looked like it came from a century in the future. Now then, Issei, Ravel, could you each enter a pod? We will begin our analysis immediately. Ravel, you need not be afraid of the pod. While it was composed with the knowledge of serving angels, it is not harmful to others. Additionally, it is unlikely you should experience any issues, as you yourself now appear to possess the traits of an angel. Instructed Michael. Issei stepped up and placed a hand on Ravel's shoulder, giving her a small nod, before making his way to his own pod. Ravel took a deep breath in, before giving a slow exhale and moving towards her own pod. Arriving in front of her pod, Ravel looked towards Issei, seeking guidance. Issei simply raised a hand and pushed it into the pod. Ravel opened her eyes slightly in surprise, having expected the pod to open, but instead, it seemed to sink into a gelatinous portal which sucked them in. Once inside, the pod filled with a blue liquid. At first glance, Ravel thought it was water, but it seemed more apt to call it jelly. It clung to Ravel's legs all the way up to her waist and seemed to pulse in time with her heartbeat. Ravel glanced over to Issei, only to see his jelly quickly turning red and pulsing like the lava of an active volcano. Ravel turned her attention back to her pod, seeing her jelly start to turn a dark yellow, before becoming a pale gold. The mass of gold jelly continued to pulse and swirl around Ravel. Issei also noticed the change in color of Ravel's pod and looked up at her computer screen, placed above her. Issei never did pay too much attention to the results of his many tests, case in point, why he was surprised by the cards Michael had given him a short while ago. Despite Issei's ignorance on the matter, he noted Ravel's readings seemed to consist of two separate, parallel lines. Looking above to see his own screen, Issei noted his readings showed a helical structure. Deducing correctly that the helix of power represented a harmony between Issei's dragon and angel powers, it made Ravel's reading all the more curious. Almost on a whim, Issei had a thought come to mind and impulsively acted on it. Ravel, make a ball of fire, said Issei. Ravel jerked upon hearing Issei's voice so suddenly, but gave a small nod and complied nonetheless. Looking above at Ravel's screen, the moment she invoked her magic, her two lines of energy merged into one. Issei raised an eyebrow at this information, not fully understanding the result, but having at least enough understanding to realize something was abnormal with what just happened. A quick glance over to the lab technician and Seraph seconded Issei's thoughts, seeing them look surprised, but also curious. Deciding to use some of his own magic, Issei generated a smaller-scale holy nova. Instead of the normal orange color Issei had come to associate with his attack, his ball of flames was in fact a deep maroon with little flecks of black running along the surface of the ball. Releasing his wings temporarily, the ball suddenly changed color, becoming a ball of orange again, only this time, the orange looked a shade closer to bronze than fire. Looking up at his own screen, Issei noticed his two helical energy lines now had a third line running through the two. Letting his wings return, Issei noticed the ball turned back into the mix of deep maroon with flecks of black. Looking up at his screen again, Issei noticed his two lines appeared to be three now. Looking very closely, Issei noticed the top line was actually thicker than the bottom. After a moment of thought, Issei started to question if Issei's and Great Red's power was actually fighting within him. Staying in their respective pods for a few more minutes, Issei and Ravel were eventually instructed to exit their pods. Well, it will take some time to fully analyze things, but it seems your time with Issei and Great Red has had quite a change upon your body, and it seems this has even transferred over into your cards. However, it seems Ravel's unique composition also facilitated this. Explained Michael. What do you mean? Asked Issei. Well, it seems that while your body contains the essence of both Issei and Great Red, they simply refuse to merge. The only way you can bring them together to some degree is by using your angelic powers, as this in turn forces them to consolidate as the source of your dragon essence. Elaborated Michael. So, it's like two people who hate each other only teaming up when they feel threatened by a third person? Asked Issei. In a way, I suppose, but as for Ravel, it seems her composition was already unique before the change, being both a devil and a phoenix, a creature which can be seen as both belonging to hell and heaven. It seems this unique aspect allowed Ravel to both incorporate our angel card as well as retain her evil piece. In this way, she now has a balance between holy and demonic energies which can be merged into fire. Said Michael. Actually, I did wonder why your evil piece stayed within you. I wondered if it was because you were already a devil, but maybe something else happened. Said Issei, turning to face Ravel. It may have to do with the fact that your own energy segregation imprinted onto Ravel to an extent. A crude take on the separate but equal principle, in which both of your energies remain alone but balanced. It also seems that the two of you are able to merge them, Ravel when using her flames bestowed upon her through her phoenix abilities and you Issei through your angel state. I dare say there is much to be further investigated, but this is a fine start for now. We will analyze the data further and let you know of any other interesting results. Said Michael. That is acceptable to me, thank you for looking after us both. We are in your care. Bowed Ravel, causing Issei to laugh. You don't need to be so formal, Ravel, the angels are all one big family. Aside from rank, there is no distinction between angels. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Said Issei, only for Gabriel to laugh softly. What Issei means is that while we may be called seraphs, all angels are of the same ranking as brothers and sisters. There is no need to show formal respect as one would for superiors, as we are all equal in that sense. Clarified Gabriel. This is how I always address superiors, even my own parents. Mumbled Ravel in confusion. Well, I'll make sure Ravel gets familiar with this manner of interacting with others as soon as possible. I guess we've taken up enough of your time for now though, and since the vampire envoy is coming soon, I guess I better prepare to head back to my parents' house, which should give me time for some repairs. Said Issei, mumbling the last part as he recalled the damage he and Akeno had done to his level. Of course. We will also let you know if we receive any new word on that front as well. Said Michael, to which Issei nodded. Ravel gave one last bow to the two out of habit, before she and Issei left. What do you make of the results, Gabriel? Asked Michael. The results are worrying, but Issei's attitude is reassuring. It is odd seeing so many different types of energy, both working with and against each other, not to mention how Issei's human composition has had to adapt between so many different conversions. I don't think his body would survive another event that either adds or subtracts a dimension to his powers. Said Gabriel. I agree. Issei is stable currently, both in mind and body, but I worry about something which could tip the balance on either. Agreed Michael. Line break. A ceasefire? I never could have imagined those heroic fools to come to such a decision. Said a dark silver-haired man, speaking to another silver-haired man in front of him. It seems to have been an impulsive move. The hero faction had one of their own returned to them, a sacred gear user who had been kidnapped by Shulba. I'm sure they no doubt regret it now. Said the standing silver-haired man. Well, that is humans for ya. If they didn't have all their parts attached, I'm sure they'd lose things every day. I almost feel my own impulse to go and taunt them personally, but I'll settle for moving ahead of schedule instead. Said the silver-haired man who was seated on a luxurious chair, peering out a window to the sky above. You wish as my command, Lord Lucifer. Said the standing individual, who gave a small bow. Ah, come on Euclid, you know you can call me Rezevim. The Lucifer title holds little meaning to me anymore, especially given how many inferior people now use it. Said the seated man. Be that as it may, Lucifer is not simply your title. Said the man known as Euclid. True, True. Well, I guess we better call those magicians then. It seems like Michael has already sent his own little scouting party to check on the bloodsuckers. Too bad, since they're going to need to split up. I wonder who I should go and play with first. The weather forecaster or the species crosser, so much excitement to be had either way. Said Rezevim. May I request the first battle with the dragon? I simply wish to test them for a bit. I need to at least ensure they will provide some form of entertainment for you. Offered Euclid. My, what a magnanimous offer. Please do, please do. I would enjoy seeing how your experiment goes. Don't get too serious though, I wouldn't want to be left with the scraps after all. Joked Rezevim. Of course. Leave it to me. On that note, would you like me to set up anything for the hero faction? Asked Euclid. Nah, go have some fun, let loose a little, but not too much. Said Rezevim, dismissing Euclid. Ah, children get more and more interesting every generation. Still mind-numbingly insignificant, but trying to attack the dragon god of infinity, that's some serious guts, especially for humans. Commented Rezevim in amusement to himself. Line break. Benia, what are you doing back here? Asked a cloaked and masked individual. I was just coming back to see what the situation is like here. Said a smaller individual, who was also cloaked and masked. You can't come and go as you please anymore, especially after you went and joined devils. Hades is especially irritated with them after his most recent encounter with them. Said the larger individual. I just wanted to make sure the others were okay. Said the smaller figure, causing the larger figure to sigh. There were many casualties. If Pluto had not ordered the rest to return after it was revealed that we had been tricked, far more casualties would have been reported. Revealed the larger figure. I see. I'm glad to hear that. It wouldn't be good for there to be this much bad blood between Reapers and the three factions. It is regrettable that things came to this. Said the smaller figure, sounding both sad and relieved at the same time. You should take care of yourself, Benia. As I said, Hades is furious right now. Hearing the recollection from Pluto has tipped him over the edge, there is no telling what his next move will be. Said the larger figure. I understand, I won't come back again. Please take care of yourself. Said the smaller figure, before fading away. Line break. So Ravel, I guess we will need to figure out how to both move and repair this place at the same time. Said Issei, as he and Ravel returned to his apartment complex. Did Firebird bring me more food? Asked Offeyes, suddenly materializing in front of the two. Or I suppose you could entertain Offeyes and get some food for all of us to share. I can get started on planning out the repairs. Amended Issei, seeing the infinite pit of food appear in front of them. I would be happy to. Said Ravel, walking towards Offeyes. Firebird is shiny now. Rare. Commented Offeyes, confusing Ravel. Shiny? Questioned Ravel, looking to Issei for an explanation. I think Offeyes found my Pantobeast games. I guess you being an angel now makes you a shiny Pantobeast to her. I guess that makes you a real one in A8192. Said Issei in amusement. Pantobeast? That sounds like something Zatoji would speak about. Every time I went with new peerage members to get familiars, he would go off on long tangents about Pantobeast and how it was a complete misappropriation of his profession as familiar master. Said Ravel. That's fair, I suppose. Anyway, you should probably get some food soon. I know this will make me pretty hungry, and Offeyes, while not hungry, will get bored quickly. Warned Issei. Ravel took the warning to heart and quickly decided to redirect Offeyes as they set out to procure nourishment, or in Offeyes' case, entertainment, leaving Issei alone to plan out his repairs. Pantobeast. I guess if I had to pick Ravel's Pantobeast, she'd have to be Moldson. Mumbled Issei, as he took off his school blazer, before properly surveying the damage of his apartment. Man, this is a real number. I wonder if I can get some help from the others. Besides, it would be nice to check on Gasper. Said Issei, before deciding to head out and recruit some more hands. Actually, this might be something Zenovia would enjoy as well. Thought Issei, before heading over to Zenovia's door and giving it a knock. Issei, this is the first time you've come to see me here outside of the walk to school. Has it finally become time for us to make a baby? Asked Zenovia, wearing a pair of lime green shorts, white ankle-length socks and a slightly baggy white shirt. Close but not quite, I need some help fixing up my place after it got trashed between the little venting session between Akeno and yours truly. Want to help out with the rebuilding? Said Issei. Creating, this is not my area of expertise, but I suppose I will need to learn how to create a house before I can create life, although I feel like I have more expertise in the second part. Said Zenovia thoughtfully. Thanks, I was going to go and look for Saji before going to see if Kiba and Gasper wanted to help as well. You can come and help me search if you want, or wait for me to get back I guess, your choice. Offered Issei. I wouldn't mind stretching my legs a bit. Said Zenovia, before slipping on a pair of dark blue sneakers beside the door. The two set out after that, heading towards the usual hangout places after school. Issei, your perversion has settled down a lot since you came back, are you still going to form a harem after all that has happened? Asked Zenovia. Always direct Zenovia, yeah, I will. I mean, I know it isn't my only goal now, but it is still my top goal. After all, losing your virginity is just one of the expected casualties in forming a harem. A virgin harem, that's like cooking a 5-course meal and then leaving. Replied Issei. Have you given any thought as to how many kids you will have? Have you set a number per person or is it variable? Continued Zenovia. That's an oddly specific question, but I haven't decided. I know some will want more than others, but at this point I'm just happy with as many as I can have. I always wanted a big family and I know my parents would love that as well. More grandchildren for them to spoil. Answered Issei. I see. I would like to start with one to begin with, to make sure I can learn everything I need to and do a good job. After that, I would be happy to have as many as I can after that. Stated Zenovia. Hey Zenovia, I know you've wanted a child for a while now, but do you have any plans after that? Asked Issei. What do you mean after that? Once I have a child, I will always have a child, there doesn't come a point after that where you no longer have a child. Besides, I don't wish to stop at one anyway. Answered Zenovia. That's fair, but I mean do you have any other things you want to do in life? Asked Issei. Let me answer that question with another question, what other things do you want in your life, other than a harem? Asked Zenovia. Well, a harem always keeps growing, so I can't really say if there comes a point after that. Smart, I didn't think you of all people would throw my question back at me like that. Commented Issei. For the record, that wasn't my intention. I want to know what your goals are, because my goals are to help you achieve your goals. I simply want to share in your life experiences. Explained Zenovia. Issei stopped walking at this, pausing to look at Zenovia in disbelief. You mean other than having a child, your only other goal in life is to help me achieve my goals? Asked Issei. Yes. I have other things I want to do, but they are not goals, like figure out how to use a microwave oven, or find other strong sword wielders to fight. They are things I would like to do, but I don't consider them goals as such. Elaborated Zenovia. What other things do you want to do? Asked Issei, resuming walking. I want to enjoy more time at school, fight against new monsters, travel to new places and I suppose spread my beliefs, although I think Sister Griselda would be very opposed to me spreading my beliefs. Continued Zenovia. Yeah, that's true. I guess now that you are an angel again you can also spread God's word too. Added Issei. I could. Said Zenovia, trailing off in thought at the end. The duo explored most of the popular haunts of high school students in their area, before deducing correctly, that Saji was likely still at school helping the student council. I think this is another goal. I want to be president of the student council. Said Zenovia, as the two entered Kyoa Academy. Really? Why? Asked Issei. Some of the best experiences of my life happened here and I want to give back to this school. I want to leave my own legacy at the place where my life found new meaning when I thought all was lost. Elaborated Zenovia. I think that's a great goal as well. Said Issei, before spotting Saji out of the corner of his eye. Is Saji training? With Gasper. Mumbled Issei, causing Zenovia to spot Saji and Gasper as well. That's indeed strange behavior. Saji was less than excited about training Gasper in the past. Said Zenovia, recalling her own attempts to train Gasper. Issei and Zenovia made their way over to the two, only to see Yuto was there as well. What are the three of you doing? Asked Zenovia, once the group spotted them. Training, why, do you want to join? Asked Saji. No. We are looking for workers. said Zenovia, confusing the three. Well, Zenovia isn't wrong. I need a bit of help repairing my house after Akeno and I had our discussion. I also thought it would be a good time to discuss what's going to be happening in the next few days as well, said Issei. Is it about the vampires? Asked Kiba. Yeah, I'll be coming back for at least a little bit, especially since they should be here soon, but I just can't leave my apartment trashed. It would bother me, explained Issei. Issei-senpai, are you worried? The other vampires aren't like me and the ones that drink blood are really scary too, commented Gasper. Well, I think I have a bit of an advantage against them now, but I'd be less worried if you could tell me what you know about them as well, Gasper, said Issei. Of course, exclaimed Gasper in determination, causing Issei to chuckle. In that case, what do the three of you say? Want to help repair battle damage in my apartment? Asked Issei. Sure, it would be nice to do something less intense for a while. I foresee we will be busy over the next few weeks, said Yuato. Yeah, but, is it true you have the infinite dragon god staying with you? Asked Saji nervously. Yeah, but Offeyes is really nice and pretty funny as well, you'll see, especially if Ravel is still there, said Issei, failing to reassure Saji. I'm guessing that is why you decided against getting Konako as well, stated Yuato. Konako? No, I can tell she and Kurika have gone off somewhere, and knowing Kurika, they won't come back until they are done or something major happens, revealed Issei. In that case, let's move out, ordered Zenovia, and with that, the group headed off. So, what were the three of you training for? Asked Zenovia after a few minutes of walking in silence. We're trying to catch up to you. I thought we were all around the same level overall, but hearing how you fought with Saraorg, you're crazy ahead of us, said Saji. Indeed, I hope for a rematch soon myself, added Kiba. Ho ho, you want to catch up to me? That's going to be a challenge then, since I'm trying to catch up to Issei, revealed Zenovia with a small laugh and grin. Really? You're trying to catch up to me? Asked Issei in surprise. Of course. To think that at one point, I was stronger than you. I have a lot of ground to catch up on, said Zenovia confidently. Well, good luck then, you'll need it, especially since I'm trying to be the strongest. Strong enough that no one can beat me, retorted Issei. I think your power has gone to your head, you aren't God, said Zenovia. Not yet, besides, first I will come to understand Offeyes and maybe, I'll learn just what it is that makes someone God. I won't stop until all my enemies see me as a terrifying being that no one would try to fight, well, except for Vala, I guess. If I become God, he'd be super excited at getting the chance to fight me, and I've kind of promised him we will one day, said Issei. Not one for slowing down, are you, Issei? Commented Kiba. Never, said Issei, as the group reached his apartment. Okay, let's get to it, cheered Issei, as the group opened the door and was instantly assaulted with many smells. Offeyes, you need to let food that comes out of the oven cool before you eat, otherwise the texture is wrong, said Ravel from the kitchen. It still tastes good though, said Offeyes. Sigh, yes, but that isn't the point, came Ravel's weary voice, causing Issei to laugh just loud enough that they got their attention. Issei, you're back. With lots of guests, said Ravel, before pouting. How could you bring so many guests without even warning me? Huffed Ravel. They're not guests, they are here to help me with repairs, said Issei, causing Ravel to cross her arms over her chest. You know, when we get married, you will need to be more considerate of me when inviting dinner guests over, said Ravel, causing the three Kyoa Academy boys to having varying degrees of shocked expressions. Awa, can I be one of your bridesmaids, Ravel? Asked Gasper, causing Issei to face palm. Gasper, you should be asking to be one of my groomsmen, said Issei. But the bridesmaid dresses always look so pretty, replied Gasper despondently, causing Issei to sigh. Well, let's get to work then, said Zenovia, as she quickly surveyed the room, before making her way to Issei's bedroom. Moments later, the sound of something being destroyed was heard, causing the group to go and see what Zenovia was doing. Zenovia, why did you destroy my bed? We are supposed to be repair things, said Issei. Yes, I destroyed the bed because it needs to be made larger, especially if it is going to need to fit Ravel along with you, Irina and myself, explained Zenovia. I see, can we start repairing things now? Asked Issei. What do you mean, I already started, said Zenovia.